Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate from Black Flag Racing TV, and we are here for the Race for Mind endurance race number 2. We had number 1, of course, at Le Mans a couple of weeks ago. Skipped last week for the GT Fusion World Championships, but we are back, and it is a GR4 race at Bathurst. 3 hours of non-stop racing. We're going to emulate a full 24-hour at Bathurst race today, and we have pretty much, I think, a full lobby for this evening. We'll have a quick run through of who we've got. We've got Bite the Roses joins us from High Pre, Stormfly, of course, from Black Flag, Star Group from Black Flag. Goes as well from, we've got quite a lot of Black Flag in here actually. Goes as well, Yellow Sausages. Average Viper, Tom's joining us also from the High Pre team. Fubar from Black Flag, I'm loving the livery, we're going to have a look at that in a sec. Bandit from VRC joins us. Hardwire, new to Black Flag. Needs to drop that DRE off his name shortly. Deadwood Bear, welcome to the group today. Looking forward to seeing him racing. Grizz Troopers, of course, we saw him last time out. The G Child, J49, obviously our glorious host. And that's it at the moment. We are expecting a couple more to be jumping in shortly over the next few minutes or so. We're about 10 minutes away from qualifying for this race. It is very simple format. It is 20 minutes qualifying. Then we go into the 3-hour race. The settings are, we've got no rain on it essentially. We've set it so it's just nice and sunny, but it will take a full 24-hour day and night cycle. So we'll start in the afternoon. They'll race through the night and then back through the morning and then back to the afternoon again. We're expecting it to be a 2, maybe 3 stop race. I think depending on your car and your settings. Shouldn't be any more than that. After some lessons learned from the last race, we've put it on the auto drive, so if anyone needs to disappear off for a wee, they can do. But we expect it to be balls out from the outset. Difficult to overtake around here, of course, without other than with slipstream, of course, on the very long back straight. That's where we expect to see a lot of the overtaking getting done. You'd be absolutely mental to be overtaken in the mountain section. The only way you're really going to get an opportunity through the mountain section is if the guy in front of you puts it into a wall or onto the gravel or anything sort of like that. So we're expecting qualifying time to be around the 2:15 or so. But this is the track that we are dealing with today. There we go. Let's bring that up. So this is the track. There we go. It is 23 corners here at Bathurst, and it is an awesome track, as any of you who've driven it will know. You've got Hell Corner. Hell Corner is so named because when they first started this track, and it is it looks like it's a purposeful circuit, but it's not. It's actually a street circuit. These are live streets when there is no racing. It is unusual in the fact that it looks like a dedicated circuit, but people actually live around there, and you can drive on these streets during the day. But Hell Corner is aptly named because a lot of people died on that corner. Then you head straight up the mountain, straight into Quarry, which is a tricky right-hander. You can overtake there if you're really brave around the outside. Then you're into the cutting, turns 3 and 4, sweeping around turn 5, and then you go firmly into the mountain section at the top of the track. And lots of aptly named corners, named really after the farms surrounding it. Then you've got the S's, which is a really tricky section from 11 through to turn 17, which is all about throttle control, brake control, just trying to get the car drifting through those corners, maintaining as much speed as possible, but obviously staying away from the very dangerous walls. Into the Dipper at 18, and then you're on the power through Forest Elbow and all the way up the Conrod Straight, which is a very long straight, and plenty of opportunity there for a bit of slipstream. Into turn 20, big braking zone as you curve around turn 20. So you kind of curve around to the right hand side there with your foot on the accelerator. So you are going flat out around turn 20. Then the big braking zone at turn 21, where the hotel complex, where you get on that power. And it's on that brake, and you turn into the left-hand side. You've got to be careful to avoid the gravel trap, of course, surrounding turn 22. Then you are back on the power again, past the pit entrance into Murray's Corner to start another lap here. So relatively simple if you know what you're doing. So here is the track guide, courtesy of our friend PM2. This was a 2:08.6, which is a crazy quick lap. We won't be expecting to see lap times anywhere near that today. This was done on under time trial circumstances, so no restrictions on POP or anything when he did this lap. But so here we go. So up the straight towards the mountain section. You're looking for that just before that 50-metre board. You get on the brakes. You turn around to that right-hand side, and you want to get on the power nice and quickly. Use all of that road. Just be careful not to hit the steward station on your left. A little lift as you turn to the left-hand side, and then you're braking into the mountain, and then it's up the hill as you drift around this right-hand turn here. Now, this right here is flat out on the softs when you've got grip. When you're on an alternative tyre, you're probably looking to lift a little bit. You flat through here, and then there's a little lift for this next left-hand kink. And then back on the power again. Your braking zone just before the Audi R8 sign. You want to brake before you get it turned in. And this is the tricky part of the track. This is the S's. And it is all about throttle and brake control through here. Just lifting, coasting, back on the power again, as much as you dare. Big brake here before you turn around into Conrod. And you need to get on the power nice and early there, because Conrod is a very long straight. And you want to be maximising your exit speed to make sure that you've got the best possible speed going down this straight. If you're close enough to the car in front, you can gain probably half a second with the slipstream. So if you're nice and close, you might be able to get the overtake done before this little kink here. And then you're on the brakes, turning in, and that's the hotel complex just there on the right hand side. Drifting around to the right here where you are on the power. Through the Armour sign, and on your left is the pit entrance. You're braking a lot earlier for there than you would be for Murray's corner here. Murray's is the left-hand turn, and then you are across the line, and that is your 2-minute lap around Bathurst, which is a very iconic circuit. But there we go. So it's simple, nothing too complex there. So I think we've got pretty much everyone that's coming is in the room. We are missing a couple of people. Someone has arrived that wasn't here before. Brian Moncani, I knew he was coming. He did race last week. Let's have a quick look at where we stand after race number 1, shall we? So there's the results from race number 1. Yellow Sausages won at Le Mans by some significant margin, to be fair. 25 points for him. TJ, I think, actually would have pushed Yellow Sausages a lot harder. He had some technical problems in the first couple of laps, cost him 2 minutes. He finished less than 2 minutes behind Yellow Sausages, so maybe that would have been a battle for the ages. But TJ currently sits second. After that race, Wiggy came in third, Stormfly came in fourth, BM Racing, Brian Moncani came in fifth. He has just joined us, of course. Fubar was in sixth, Avalon in seventh. Avalon not racing today, he is sick. Get well soon, buddy. We'll see you back next week. Jersey was eighth, Jay was in ninth place, Cullum was in 10th, Grizz came up in 11th, and then Smoky Tom, Devlin and Ash all rage quit at one stage or another and did not finish the race. So the standing's pretty obvious. They're in that exact same order. So we've got Bathurst this week. Next week we are off to Daytona for GR3 cars. That is going to be a really fast, hot pace. I'm looking forward to that. Then we're off to Belgium to Spa for the GR2. Then we have a little break for Crimbo because we're not racing Christmas week. And then in the new year we finish this series with the Nürburgring in the GR1 cars. I know that Spa was supposed to be this week, but because of the update, there was a few bugs on Spa, so we moved it a couple of weeks to give them time to patch the issues. So we are pretty much a couple of minutes away from qualifying. Let's have a little look and see what everyone's looking like car-wise, shall we? Got a couple of new races joining us today, and looking forward to seeing what they've got to offer. There's Deadwood Bear. He has opted for the Honda NSX. Interesting choice, actually. Let's bring up the car details. So he's gone for the Honda NSX, which is a very strange car. And the reports I get about, I don't like this car particularly. The reports I get back from a lot of guys about it is it's very on and off with the throttle, very difficult to feather it. So he will struggle during the mountain section. There is Ghost. He has gone for the Alpha 155, and I think that's going to be a popular choice today. What it does lack in the straight line speed down Conrod, especially when you get into 6th gear, it will make up for in its agility through this really tricky mountain section. Bright Roses from High Pre, he has gone for the Mercedes SLS AMG. Now I remember when PM10 raced this in the GR4 tournament a few months ago actually, around here. He did struggle around this track in the AMG, but we know that Bright Roses is pretty darn quick, so expecting to see something from him in that High Pre car. Fubar, he's gone for the WRX. I think that's another popular car choice here. Nice livery on that actually. Let's have a good look at what he's done there. Nice. I'm loving that kind of crazy striped option he's gone for. The G, that's Belak. He is also gone for the Alpha 155. Gone very simple. Has left the mine logo off. Someone should remind him about that, but yeah, it's done now. There is Hardwire. He's opted for the Nissan GTR. Interesting choice of car. He's going to gain a lot of time through Conrod and the mountain straight, but it hasn't really got the same agility through the top section. Brian Moncani, he's also gone for the GTR. He's got a very standard livery. It's not that dissimilar to the livery on the High Pre cars. Average Viper also from High Pre. He's currently sitting in the pits. Grizz Troopers has opted for, what car has he gone for? We'll find out in a minute. Jay, he's gone for the Alpha 155. You can tell from the inside of that car what that is. As has Yellow Sausages for the Alpha. Stargroup has gone for, he was going to go for the Atenza. I don't know what he's opted for in the end, but we'll find out shortly. And Stormfly's opted for the same car. So qualifying to start imminently. Yellow Sausages with a 2:12.0 in qualifying. That's a very, very quick lap. And actually it's looking like Chris is going to be the one to beat in this endurance series. He was very, very strong at Le Mans in the GR1s, and he's looking very strong again here at Bathurst. So really looking forward to seeing if anyone can put a bit of a challenge on him. So Ghost gone for the Alpha 155. Very strange orange colour there, but I suppose that's homage to the fact that he's Dutch. Fubar WRX, his best time at 2:13.4. Ghost has done a 2:13.5 in the Alpha. Belak the G. So here we go. Qualifying is ready to go ahead. Who's going to be first out? We've got 20 minutes of qualifying here, and plenty of time to get around. Usual qualifying rules apply. Don't be a dick, and give yourself a bit of room, and no overtaking, particularly if someone's on a hot lap. Just use your brains. If you're on an out lap, they're on a hot lap, get out of the fucking way. So everyone jumping out quick. Good to get a banker lap in. Just make sure you've got something on the board in case it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. At the moment, I can't see, but there's a couple of people I really think are going to be strong here. Yellow Sausage is definitely going to be strong. He's already shown he's got the pace. He's already the championship leader after round one. Stargroup has gone, strangely, for the Mazda Atenza, the car that he absolutely hated in the GR4 lottery, but it's a very, very different car under BOP conditions. And round here, it's really good on tyres, really good on fuel. I could probably drag that out a bit longer than some of the others. We know the Alpha will definitely have to two-stop it. It's going to be very difficult to do anything other than a two-stop in the Alpha. GTR is going to be quite heavy on fuel, and we'd expect that also to have to two-stop. Tyre-wise, it shouldn't be too bad. Belak, the G, he's in the Alpha as well, so he'll be one of the two-stoppers today. Bandit has finally made it in. He's also gone for that Mazda Atenza, so that seems to be another popular choice. I actually thought the WRX would be more popular, but it hasn't really. It's been picked by only one person today. So I think the four-wheel drive aspect, if you're going to go four-wheel drive, I think the Alpha 155 has been the car of choice. Deadwood Bet in that NSX. He's tucked right in behind Bandit at the moment. Now, you can't overtake during qualifying. He might want to back off a little bit, and there he goes, overtaking during qualifying, contrary to the rules. But it is an outlap, so not too much of an issue doing it during an outlap. But it'll be interesting to see because this intersects in a straight line is very, very quick. But because of the difficulty with throttle control through the mounting section, if you can keep that car under control through there, and particularly when it's tight, when you've got 2 or 3 people around each other, because there is no overtaking in that section whatsoever. So of the 15 we expected, we've got 14. That's not bad. 1 dropout. I'm going to find out who it is, and then I'm going to character assassinate. No, I'm not really. But let's not forget why we're doing this. A very quick message for you all out there.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health. £40 could help keep Mind's supportive online community side by side, open for another hour, helping to connect people and feel less alone.
Apologies for that. We had a massive technical issue with the mic, which I've now managed to sort out. I did try and show you for everybody doing their times, but we've now sorted out the issues. So I'm going to do a quick run through again of the qualifying lineup. Yellow Sausages with a 2:11.8. He's joined on the front row by Roses, Wiggy and Stormfly on row 2. We've got Mr. Anderson and TJ on row 3. Fubar and Belak on row 4. Average Tom, Old Man J are on row 5. Row 6 is Brian Moncani and Bandit. Row 7 will be Hardwire and Grizz Troopers. Quick 5-minute break before the race begins. We'll see you very soon for that.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Mind's booklets.
Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
Race is about to begin. Only a couple of seconds really for it all to start. So, we know the grid. We know what's going on. Good luck to everybody. Really looking forward to this race. Let's get in there and get it checked out. So, of course, Yellow Sausage is on pole position. He is determined to win this series. Already leads the championship after race number 1. Here we are, race number 2. We're at Bathurst. This is 3 hours, 24 hours of racing. We have to do this. This is really, really annoying. I haven't fixed this bit yet. But everyone's away. Let's see what sort of carnage we've got into turn 1. Yellow Sausages from High Pre into turn 1. It looks like the first few are through cleanly. Doesn't seem to be any issues at the rear. Great shot there, and everyone through turn 1 nice and clean. That's what we like to see. That's the perfect start. So it is Yellow Sausages who put in a sub 112 lap in qualifying. Very, very good. I think he's going to be under significant pressure early on, straight away from Roses in that AMG Mercedes. It is very quick in a straight line, the AMG, and how quickly he can get on the power out of this mountain section is going to be key. Yellow Sausage is going to want to get away and get away well. So in terms of tyre choices, we've got Yellow Sausages in the lead. He's on the soft. Pretty much everyone. TJ started on the medium compound tyres. Is that a ploy to get rid of them early on, or is he actually going to run them for a bit of a session? He's up to 4th place. That's a big jump from him. Got himself ahead of Wiggy, starting from 6th on the grid. He was Wiggy on those soft tyres in the Atenza, as is Mr. Anderson in the NSX. He's also with the soft tyres. Old Man Jay also running the medium compound tyres. How you doing, Gary? I take it you're working, mate, which is why you're not joining us for a 3-hour race, or is it because you realise that in a 3-hour race you would have to pit 97 times? Yeah, so anyway, I lost my train of thought then, thinking about how many times GMAC would have to jump into the pits. So Bellac also opting for the medium compound tyres. Good evening, Ray. Rose is in a really good position. She's already made the move up into 1st. What happened to Yellow Sausages? He's dropped down the order significantly. Did he have a little bit of a wobble? So he's down to 6th place. So Rose is out in the lead. And as soon as Ray Coxlar comes on and wishes him luck, he takes the lead of this race in the AMG. It's going to be a very long race, though. It's a 3-hour race. Anything can happen. But Yellow Sausages loses his lead, and he's off the racetrack again in the Alpha 155. Is he going to lose 6th place? He was on pole. He's now down to 7th in the Alpha. Not going well for him. Jay jumping into the pits. I knew that's what he was going to do. He did that at Le Mans. He got rid of the harder of the 2 tyre compounds after lap 1 to leave himself just the soft compound tyres. 2 hours of the 3. That's probably about right, mate, to be fair. You could just drive the Suzuki Swift, because if you drive that, then you're guaranteed to be in the pits for most of it. So Rose is in the lead of this race early doors. He's got Stormfly for company though, and they are side by side coming up the mountain straight. Stormfly takes the lead in the Atenza from High Pre Roses in the AMG, and this is where the Atenza is going to be strong through this mountain sector. It's going to get him a little bit of a gap on Roses. Rose's job here really is to just kind of stick with him as much as possible, not lose any time if he can help it through the mountain section here, and then make it back up on Conrad with the slipstream. TJ up to 3rd place, running well in the Alpha. He's the highest Alpha runner, and he's obviously gone for the Dutch colours, and congratulations to the Dutch today for their win in the World Cup. If anyone watching wants to awesome, you're here for Daytona then. Love it. If anyone watching wants to update me on the football score, please feel free. I'm not recording it. I'm not going to sit down and watch it later. I just want to know what the score is. Mr. Anderson, first race with actually there's a couple of noobs racing with us for the first time, and these are the guys that I want to watch, because obviously they're new, they haven't raced with us before, and it's good to have new people coming in and racing with us. There is Mr. Anderson. He is the only driver in an NSX, up to 4th place, is ahead of Wiggy in the Atenza. And we've got a little bit of a slipstream train there. Wiggy tucked in behind Mr. Anderson at the moment. Is he able to make a move? Or is he, I think he's just going to, I think the order of the day here really is to just manage your pace, manage your tyres and your fuel at this stage. Mr. Anderson having a little look up the inside of TJ, thinks better of it, and probably wise. It's not the easiest way to do things there. But he's tucked right there, both tucked in right behind now. He's looking up the inside here into Murray's, and he makes that move. They are side by side. Little touch, little wobble. But they all get out of it relatively unscathed into turn 1. Hell corner. And is there hell there? TJ again getting a little bit aggressive in that 155. You don't want to pick up a penalty for barging someone out of the way. And Wiggy enjoying this battle because he's got slipstream whatever happens. Wherever on the racetrack he places his car, he's got a nice little bit of slipstream. And Alpha 155 just showing its power in the lower gear ranges. But look at the Atenza, look at the drag. And they both, he's through. And it's side by side now with the Alpha 155. This is great racing from these guys. Going balls out. We're only on lap 3. We're into the first 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Gary, for that 1-0 to Argentina. We're in the first 5 minutes of this 3-hour race, and we're already seeing the kind of action you'd expect to see in the closing stages. So everyone vying for a better track position early on. Really, really good from them. So let's work from the back of the pack. Where is old man Jay? We expected him to be at the back. He went in early doors, got rid of those medium compound tyres. So he's now on the softs. He can just run the softs for the rest of this race. He's on a very, very different strategy to everybody else, but he knows what he's doing. Everyone in front of him still needs to pit. So the more he can close down that 11-second gap in this first stint, the better it will be for him. There is Bandit in that Atenza. He is crawling over the back of Gris Troopers, who's gone for American muscle over the guile and nifty European cars or Japanese cars. So he is tucked at the moment behind, just ahead of Bandit. But Bandit looking to try and get that Atenza around Gris Troopers. The gap is half a second to the American driver. They are already 7.3 seconds behind Hardwire, Hristo Brafanov from Bulgaria. He is opted for that GTR, very quick in a straight line, but in a bit of no man's land already, with a gap ahead to BM Racing, Brian Moncani, 1.8 seconds. He has opted for, he's the other GTR driver, so these two GTRs showing similar pace at the moment. Just over a second behind Fubar in the WRX. He can really get that WRX singing, to be fair. He's very, very strong in that car. He's half a second behind Average Tom, who's also gone for American muscle in the Ford Mustang. Two British drivers, of course, going at it side by side. Quite a lot of British drivers, actually. Then 2.1 seconds up the road from Average Tom in the High Pre-branded Mustang. There we've got Belak. Belak has gone for the Alpha 155. And very nice purple and white livery he's got cracking on that car. Talk about no man's land for some drivers. He's 5 seconds back from Yellow Sausages. Yellow Sausages, of course, was on pole. I mean, he did a 2:11 in qualifying. And Stormfly's put in qualifying times on this early stages of this race out in the lead. And Yellow Sausages making the move on TJ. TJ dropping down to 6th place. So battle still raging on here between Mr. Anderson, Wiggy, and Yellow Sausages. This is a 4-way battle with TJ at the back of that battle at the moment. And this is the view from the back of the car. This is what he's got Wiggy bearing down on the back of him. So we've got NSX ahead of the Atenza, ahead of 2 Alpha 155s. And Yellow Sausage is really looking to make up for an early mistake that saw him dropping down the order and giving Roses the lead. But they are already 5.9 seconds off the 2 lead cars in Roses and Stormfly. This battle is going to rage on for some time, I think. Certainly is. So there is Roses and Hyper. He's 2.9 seconds behind Stormfly. Stormfly is absolutely storming off into the distance in that Alpha. Is he going to come a cropper though? Is he pushing too hard in this early stage? I mean, it's early to tell what sort of tyre and fuel damage he's doing out there in the lead. But there is the second Hyper car, or it's the first Hyper car technically, because he's ahead of his teammate Viper Average Tom. That's not going to look after your tyres, taking that corner, swinging the back end out like that. Mr. Anderson with a mistake. Is that going to put Wiggy through? Wiggy does make the move on Mr. Anderson. He just goes in too hot into Murray's, and that lets Yellow Sausages through as well. So Wiggy up into third. Yellow Sausages, Mr. Anderson side by side, heading up the mountain straight into the tricky section at the top. Yellow Sausages wins out, and he is just ahead of Mr. Anderson. So all change there. 2 places gained over Mr. Anderson. He went from 3rd to 5th. And I have a feeling these guys are going to be cracking it on through the entire race. Is Wiggy able to pull away? That's the question. So Yellow Sausage has put in the fastest lap of the race with a 2:12.5. So we knew he was going to be quick. That early mistake cost him a little bit, but it's 3 hours. 3 hours is a long time, and anything can happen. Already 8 seconds behind the leader, though. So some significant work to do. Excuse me. So Stormfly's fastest lap was a 2:12.9, which he did on lap number 2. Settled into the low 2:13s, which I expect to be the sort of pace for these front runners regularly on the soft compound tyres. But bear in mind that if you've started on the soft tyres, you still need to run the medium compounds at some stage in this race. There are a couple of drivers on the medium compounds. Old Man Jay started on the mediums, jumped into the pits, went straight on the softs. He has already closed that 11-second gap down to 2 seconds at the back of Bandits, and looking very racy. The 2:13.9 from Old Man Jay. That is less than a second off the pace of the front runners. So very, very quick from Old Man Jay, and he's looking to really make a difference. And there's a mistake there for Grizz Troopers, and as Grizz Troopers pulls away from the wall, it hits Old Man Jay and slows his progression a little bit. A little bit of damage there for Old Man Jay. So this is how dangerous it is. That, you have a mistake, an issue in this mountain section, and it can cause a big chain reaction, and that's thrown Old Man Jay off his game a little bit, and clips the wall coming into Comrade. All changing the pack. Grizz Troopers with a spin in the American Muscle. He's now 5.2 seconds down at the back of the pack. Old Man Jay up to 13th. The gap to Bandits, 8 seconds. Lost quite a bit of time. Look at that great shot. He lost quite a bit of time catching Grizz Troopers after his little accident in the mountain section. So the gap to Bandit, 9 seconds as Bandit just comes round to complete lap 5 here. 10 minutes into this 3 hours. 6 seconds up the road is Hardwire in the GTR. The two GTRs running just for... So he's actually the GTR's not there anymore. So Mr. Anderson has left the room. Now, was that a disconnection or was it a rage quit? He was doing quite well, so I can't imagine he'd rage quit from that position. So we've lost Mr. Anderson, unfortunately, due to what I assume is a technical issue. Not good when that happens. Well, so we're down to 13 runners now. Not bad. We lost 3 last time out at Le Mans. If we only lose 3 this time, then we're still going to have 10 runners finish this race. So I'm not complaining too much at this stage. So there's Belak in the Alpha 155, 2.1 seconds behind Brian Moncani. He's running the medium compound tyres, so he's going to go a little bit longer, or as long as he possibly can, in this race on those tyres. And then when he gets rid of those, he'll just have the softs to run. A 2:15.7 is his fastest lap on those tyres. I expect to see the pace increase as he changes onto the softer tyres. Brian Moncani, the other GTR runner, he's up to 8th place. He is our Belgian connection. Is it? No, he's German, isn't he? I thought he was Belgian. That's the German. That's clearly the German flag, of course it is. 12 seconds behind Average Tom. Average Tom running in the Ford Mustang. And he's 1 second behind the WRX of Fubar Philantis. His fastest lap at 2:12.8, so really not that far off the fastest lap of the race. So very, very similar in terms of lap times. I mean, if we go through and we look, I mean, from Grizz Troopers, he's doing 2:18s, and I think he's brought the wrong car. It's not an ideal car for this racetrack, so he's going to struggle a bit time-wise. But in terms of lap times, Old Man Jay at 2:13.9, Bandit 2:17.9. So I think him and Grizz are going to have their own little battle going on. Then we've got Hardwire, he's at 2:17.7. So I think what we're going to see, as people start to find their position on the racetrack, I think we're going to see Christo Bandit and Grizz Troopers having their little battle. Old Man Jay doing a similar time to these guys. Well, actually, Belak, of course, is on the medium tyre, so it's difficult to tell what his pace is going to be like when he's on those softs. Brian Moncani, 2:16.6 is his best lap. So GTR's not performing that well. And then we look at average time, 2:13.5, 2:12.8 for Fubar, a 2:13.1 for Wiggy. So at the moment, Old Man J is well out of sync in terms of track position, but doing the pace of the top 7 drivers. TJ 2:13.8, very similar time. Roses with a 2:13.6. He's running in 3rd place. Stormfly through. Yellow Sausages through. We know that Yellow Sausages had some crazy pace. He's moved his way back up into 2nd place in this race. Had he not had that wobble early on, where would he be now? He is already 6/10 up, but the slipstream here is very, very strong. Is there an opportunity to make a move here? That's the view over the back wing, and we'll see that AMG closing down towards the end of Conrad. It's purple sector there for Yellow Sausages. Not going to be quite close enough to make the move. Is he going to be chucking one? Oh, he was having a look as they get on the brakes into this hotel section. Roses doesn't chuck one up inside this time. Just backs off a little bit. You do not want to be stuck in the dirty air of the car in front through any of these complicated turns. So through the final corner there, cross start finish line, start lap 7, and then we're into Hell Corner to start all over again. So that battle is going to continue raging. And that wasn't a big plug for Black Flag TV at all, showing up for that real wing. But there's your leader. He's 4.9 seconds clear in that Tenza. Lap time's very, very steady. He had a bad lap of 2:14.1, so, well, bad by his standards anyway. But looking very steady in the low 2:13s at the moment, just settling into a bit of a rhythm. 5 seconds clear at the moment, but with the pace of Yellow Sausages behind, being fast about that, it's a 2:12.1, and that's under racing conditions. I would love to see actually the sort of times we're going to once the fuel's burnt off and we see that the tanks are empty. What sort of times these cars are going to do when they're nice and light. So let's go on board. Who should we do it on board? Let's do it on board with who's about to cross the start finish line. Let's find someone who's going to cross the start finish line, and we'll do it on board with them. So we've got. There we go, Grizz Troopers. Let's do it on board with Grizz Troopers. We always do the faster guys. We never do it on board with the guys that drive like me. So let's go on board with Grizz Troopers and see a lap around here in some American muscle. And I promise I won't slag you off too bad. So here is your lap. It starts, start finish line. There you come into Hell Corner. The apex, and on the power as you head up the hill into the mountain section, keeping it nice and low. Particularly if you're defending a line, you want to be pretty central here and not leave a gap either side. So if someone's going to go around you, they're going to have to kind of force their way through. But you stick to this left-hand side, head up the hill, and then you're looking for about the midpoint between 100 and 50 metre board, where that little path is, which leads off to one of the farms. Get it turned in again on that power, using all the road, drift out as far, as close to that sign as you dare, which is the entrance to another property here. Then into section, a little lift before you get on the brakes, into this turn here, and then you're on that power again, heading round this sweeping right-hander. Another one here, little lift maybe there. Yeah, there is a tiny little lift. I think the quicker drivers tend to do that pretty much flat out. You're flat out around this first left-hander, and then it's a lift for the second one there, and then a lift for this one here as well, just to get it turned in, and on the power towards the Audi R8 side. On the brakes, and you follow that little contour round, and then you've got another braking zone here before you sweep to the left, sweep to the right, again to the left and again to the right. Again, full power here. You're just letting off the power before you get onto the brakes, down to second gear, then on the power into Conrad, and this is where you are flat to the floor. Bit of slipstream here is going to improve your lap time immeasurably, but it's a really, really long straight. Now there is your penalty line. Anyone serving a penalty is going to get absolutely screwed by that. That's a horrible, horrible place. It's one of the worst, along with Interlagos is a bad one, and Barcelona's a bad one as well. Just in terms of the speed you're going when you hit that line and how much it costs you. And Daytona as well is quite a bad one. Then you've got the left-right section into Hotel, as you come past the pit entrance, which is on your left-hand side. And we know that Grid Troopers is very famous for spinning into the pits randomly, usually at Laguna Seca, but he has been elsewhere as well. And there you go, there is a lap with Grid Troopers around the iconic Bathurst. I might talk a little bit more about Bathurst throughout the bloody button. I need the controls back, man. I need the keyboard controls back for this game. There's your race leader. The gap's gone down to 4.2 seconds. He has put in a really quick lap with a 2:12.4, but Yellow Sausages is absolutely on fire. I mean, look at the difference there. 2:12.483, a 2:12.433 in the Alpha 155. So whatever that lacks in straight line speed isn't really affecting Yellow Sausages in the slightest. He's getting awesome performance out of that car. So, Roses still sitting comfortably in that top three. He's 2.6 seconds behind Yellow Sausages, but really utilising the power of that Mercedes-Benz engine in the AMG, particularly on the straights. Not to let him disappear. He's also done a 2:12.7, a little bit wide there though, which is going to cost him a bit of time, and it does cost him a significant amount of time. He's almost out to 5 seconds now. And that will put him a bit closer to Wiggy in the Atenza. He's started to open, he's in a bit of no man's land now. Wiggy, of course, from Wales. He says Great Britain there, but we all know that he's Welsh, and he's still crying about not being in the World Cup. Sorry, mate. I had to do it, mate. I had to do it. Had to. Very, very close to High Pre Roses because of that mistake. Does touch the wall, goes through, up into the top three in that Atenza. So that error from Roses cost him third place. It cost him a lot of time and third place. So all the impetus towards Yellow Sausages has gone. He is tucked in nicely behind Wiggy though, through the mountain section. So it might come back to him when they go into Conrod. If he can stay on that power, and that's a great shot through there. It's gone wide again. What is going on with High Pre Roses? He's having a few issues here. Has he handed over the steering wheel to somebody else, maybe? So he's on the power again, but he again clips the wall. And his usual quick pace not winning out this time. He's not going to be close enough to make the move, but we can see the difference in power with the slipstream and with the pace of that Mercedes engine. So into the hotel. You can see him looking up the inside, but we know it's not on. Yeah, he needs to just wake up a little bit and get back in the game. The thing is, it's a 3-hour race as well, so you need to keep your concentration all the way through. And if you're losing concentration 20 minutes in, it doesn't bode well for the rest of the race. But look, if you have a bad lap, the best way to do it is if you have a bad lap is to kind of draw a line on it and go, right, that's done, start again, and just start doing everything you were doing right, do it again, and just find your rhythm. That's a much better exit though, out of Hell Corner, and he's really tucked up close behind with it. Can he make a little dive? There is overtaking opportunity into this right-hander if you can find the right line. You can overtake around the outside if you get the right kind of pace, and he does pull out from the slipstream into the turn. He's got to be brave on the braking. He's got the inside line, he takes that inside line. Wiggy sensibly just backs out of that battle and lets Roses go, but he's not letting him go too far. Here we go, they're braking in. There's no opportunity for overtaking, but he's wide again going through that section. Just a little bit too late on the brakes, and it's luckily not giving up any space there. But if you go too wide, you do leave the door open for a quicker car to dive up the inside. If they spot it and they make that move quick enough. There was a little touch there, but nothing that really affected him. But Roses looks to be struggling at the moment. Is he? Unless he's on some sort of fuel-saving mission, I don't know. But for me, it just seems he's struggling, keeping control of the car at the moment. And I did say beforehand that these big gas-guzzling cars like this AMG, this part of the racetrack is where they really, really struggle, because it does require some agility, some nimble movement, some deft control, and unfortunately for Rose, he's really struggling through that mountain section, and that was a battle. I mean, he lost 8 seconds on that last lap, and it looks to me that he's lost 2 or 3 on this as well. So needs to just find some focus really, whether it be to shout fuck or scream or do whatever. But just take a deep breath and then back in it, because there's still a long way to go in this race. Still over 2.5 hours left of racing to go here at Bathurst. So we've lost one already from this race. His brake panel. To be fair, he did say beforehand that he was having some problems with his controller, and I understand that he races with a wheel and a controller, but he's got some problems with it. So he has just said that he's going to have to retire because of that problem. Such a shame. We're really looking for, but being where he was as well, really looking forward to seeing his pace. So disappointed. So we've lost him due to a technical problem. So all changed then. Stormfly in the lead. So we've lost 2 already from this race. 20 minutes in. I think we'd only lost one by this stage in Le Mans. So we've lost one to a technical issue. That's Rose's. Really gutted to lose him. He was looking certainly odds on for a good race in that top 3. So we've lost him. We've also lost Mr. Anderson. Whether that was, I don't know whether that was a disconnection or not. He was running quite well in 4th or 5th place at the time. Absolutely gutted for him. Gutted for Roses. But them's the brakes, man. Them's the brakes. He has left. Hopefully he'll join us on the stream for a bit and keep up with the action. So Stormfly is no longer dominating this race. He was at one stage 5 seconds clear, but Yellow Sausages has turned it on after his initial issue on lap 1, where he lost another place, moved down to 7th place after a little issue. He has now turned on the power and he's up behind Stormfly. And is he going to make a move on Stormfly? Because he's certainly got the slipstream, he's got the speed, but they come into this little right-hand jink, then on the brakes, and there's no real opportunities here. Stormfly will certainly close off that inside line. He's not going to leave a gap open at this stage. Certainly not while the tyres are looking so fresh. He's going to guard the inside line here, but no, he doesn't. I thought Yellow Sausages was going to try and make a crazy dive down the inside. They both have a little bit of a wobble coming out of that final turn, but there's going to be a real opportunity with the exit speed of this Alpha 155 and the slipstream. Real opportunity to make the move on the Atenza Stormfly and retake the lead of this race, and he is closing up. We can see the gap is down to almost just 0.2 of a second, and closing fast as we move under the supercharged sign. Can he get this move done before we get into the right hand here? And he's up the inside. No, they're just, Stormfly does the right thing. He keeps the car in the middle of the road and doesn't leave the door open. So Yellow Sausage is waiting, just biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity. And he has done a qualifying pace in this race, 2:11.8 and 2:11.5 on laps 9 and 10. Such phenomenal pace. And again, this is a very, very tricky place to overtake. I don't see many overtakes there, and the reason for it is that you usually crash when it happens. So he's there tucked behind Stormfly. He's in a very unique position because I think down Conrod, if he's this close coming into Conrod, there is going to be a change of the leader here at Bathurst. So we're just coming up to the half-hour mark, leaving us 2.5 hours left of this 24-hour simulated race here at the wonderful Mount Panorama racetrack in Australia. Iconic racetrack, one of the great 24-hour events held here, the Bathurst 24 Hours, of course. And there is Yellow Sausage. He's very close to that slipstream. He's about to pull out and make the move down the outside. He needs to get it done before this little jig, but if he's got the inside line here, going into this, he's not quite got the pace. As soon as he comes out of the slipstream, that's the thing, the Atenza just a little bit quicker in a straight line without that slipstream. So the overtake is going to be a very, very difficult thing to do when the car in front of you has got such good pace. But at the moment, they're 17 seconds clear of Wiggy. So their battle is between each other, and they don't have to worry too much about anything from behind. So a couple of laps down, he's not been able to make that move, but at the moment, just looking for the gap. There's Wiggy. He's running in third place, 18 seconds back. He's just going to settle into his little rhythm now. He's got, so what, we're half hour into this race. So actually, I think we might only be seeing one stop today. Some people are going to say stop because, well, I think it depends really how they want to manage the use of the medium tyre. And going wide there is not going to help. You can't park that there, mate. Do they want to run a full stint on the medium tyres? Certainly with the pace you're getting on the softs, with these sort of low 213s, it doesn't make sense to me to be losing a couple of seconds a lap to on the medium compound tyre. You might as well come in, use it for a couple of laps, and get rid of it, go back onto the softs, because you'll make that time up over a few laps. Fubar running up into 4th place, where we've lost Roses to a technical issue, and I did wonder why his lap times were dropping as they were, but it does make sense that if you're having a technical issue and your brake is not working correctly, that it's going to affect your lap times like that. So it wasn't a lack of concentration, I apologise for suggesting. As such, it was a technical problem. Feel for you, man, feel for you. Average Tom up to 5th place in the Viper. No, he's not in the Viper, he's in the Mustang. And they're all the same, aren't they, all these American muscle cars. That's not how you take that corner. Just the back end, just stepping out on him. He is far enough ahead of Belak at this stage for that not to be an issue. But the gap to Fubar is a lot bigger than it was. And the gap back to Belak is a lot smaller. So just loses control of the rear of that car. And the worst thing about it is when you've got your rhythm, and you can see there with regular mid 214s, he kind of had his rhythm. Once you lose that rhythm, it's very difficult, as you can see here, to get it back. But he is starting to. It's all about taking that deep breath now and kind of getting back into the groove. So the gap now to Belak is only just under 5 seconds in that 1:55. He is 5 seconds clear of TJ running in 7th in the upper Alpha, in the Netherlands-inspired Alpha 155, of course. Brian Moncardi in the GTR running in 8th place is 16 seconds back from TJ at this stage. But if you look at the tyre wear on that GTR, looking very good. Hardwire Hristo Bratvanov running in 9th place, he's 14.5 seconds back in the other GTR. Is he able to improve on those laps? At the moment, those lap times down in the 219s on the soft compound tyres. Old Man Jay has moved up to 10th place. He's closed the gap on Bandit, moved up the order. Of course, everyone promoted a little bit because of Rose's unfortunate mishap. I'm sure nobody wants to gain a place because somebody else got disconnected. They want to beat them on the racetrack, of course they do. But when you're in that position, you do not complain. And there he is Old Man Jay. He's 4.4 seconds behind Hardwire, ahead of Bandit, but Bandit not letting him pull away as much as he can anyway. He's running in the Mazda Atenza in 11th. Grit Troopers running in 12th in 56 seconds back. So he's clearly had a couple of big issues. Well, you can see there he had a 2:29 on lap 6. That was clearly a spin there. A 2:26 on lap 13. And that has seen him dropping way back. 56 seconds back, in fact. We've lost two. We lost Mr. Anderson early on, which looked like a straight disconnection. Can't confirm that or deny that. It may have been a disconnection. It may have been a rage quit, either or. And then a couple of laps ago, we unfortunately lost Roses, who was running in that, or just outside that top 3. He actually qualified second as well. We lost him to a technical issue, having a problem with his brake. But we did see that from the lap times and the driving, that he was clearly struggling with something. So unfortunately for him, he's had to retire from this race. And I do look forward to him fixing whatever problem he's got and being back with us for this race next week. So why are we doing this? This is a charity event. It's for a charity called Mind here in the UK. And the aim of the Mind charity is to tackle not only the stigma of mental health, but also to improve mental health services in general. I don't know, I mean, anyone that's been in the UK, would have 1 in 4 people experience some sort of mental health emergency or problem throughout their lifetime. And the problem we have and it's the same in most countries, is that you walk into a hospital with a broken arm and you can get immediate help, whether you have to pay for your healthcare or, like here in the UK, you're lucky enough to have free healthcare. But you walk into a hospital and you get your arm, it's fixed straight away. You walk into a hospital with a mental health problem, And, you know, you can wait 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 months to be seen to have an appointment. And, it's, you know, we're trying to change things like that. 1 in 15 people will attempt suicide in their lifetime. And so we're going to stream 15 hours of endurance racing to try and raise some money to improve those services.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health. £40 could help keep Mind's supportive online community side by side, open for another hour, helping to connect people and feel less alone.
It's a really good cause. If you can donate, please do. If you can't, that's fine. Just just show us some support. Give us a subscribe. Give us a like. Share the videos out. Let people see that you're supporting us in any way you can. And if you want to get, if you haven't raced with us yet, you want to get involved and have a go, give us a shout. We've got one of these every week now up to Christmas. There's 2 more before we hit the big day. Then we're gonna have a little break. Obviously, people want to spend time with their families. Apparently, that's what you do. When you're not doing this, you talk to the people that live in your house and you give them gifts and you pretend you like them, and then you go out to see other people in your family and pretend you like them as well. Apparently that's what you'd have to do at this time of year. It's the thing. And then we'll do the final race of the season will be in January. But it does look like this has been a very, very popular format, so we might this might become a regular thing, not necessarily just for charity. We are going to, I do intend on running a charity event on a semi-regular basis, but watch this space. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up on at Black Flag and Black Flag TV for 2023. So Stormfly has opened up the gap a little bit out front in that Tenza, 1.3 seconds. Clearly, Yellow Sausages, it's the old adage, it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. And he hasn't been able to pass at this stage, but he is sticking with him. And these two are clearly the front runners here. Fastest lap with a 2:11.5 or 1 anything here in these cars will be something of beauty. 2:11.5 for Yellow Sausages in that Alfa Romeo 155. Beautiful, beautiful car. He had a technical issue, Ray. He had a couple of laps where he was struggling, and he had a technical issue with being able to brake properly, and he's had to retire from the race, unfortunately. Real shame to lose him because he was there or thereabouts, and I was quite looking forward to seeing him popping up there in the top 3 towards the end. But technical issue has cost him his time here, unfortunately. But I do hope he gets it sorted out and comes back for the race next week. He's kind of left his teammate, Average Tom, on his own. But do stick with us if you can. There are lots of other people to support. Find someone new to support. Yeah, he's break again. He did. To be fair, he did mention earlier that he was having some problems with it. Maybe that could be our next charity event. To once we've raised some money for Mind, we'll do a little charity event. And I know it's such a shame. We'll do another little charity event, and we'll raise some money to fix Rose's brake. So there is Wiggy. He is 23 seconds. He's in 3rd place, but he's 23 seconds. Oh, is he? Does he know? Well, he does now. If he didn't know, he does now. Merry Christmas. Wiggy is running in 3rd place. He's 23 seconds behind the front two. Fubar just 3.7 seconds behind him, that WRX. Press the wrong button again, like idiots. I do miss the keyboard controls for the lobbies here on GT7 that we had in GT Sport, of course. As there is Fubar, he's in the WRX. He's 3.7 seconds behind Wiggy, running on those soft compound tyres. Pit window's not really any nearer to opening yet. I think we're looking at probably the midway point. So he's going to be, I think it's going to be a 2-stop, but I think a lot of them are going to 1-stop. They're going to 1-stop if they're going to run the medium tyres for a full stint. They're going to 2-stop if they're going to bin them and then go back onto the softs, of course. There's Belak, 27 seconds behind Fubar in fifth place at the moment. He's got TJ just behind, so it's Alpha 155 versus Alpha 155 for fifth and sixth. 1.1 seconds is the gap. In terms of lap times, last lap for Belak was at 2:17.0. TJ with a 2:14.7. Although Belak's average times are around that mark, so hopefully he can get that pace back and keep TJ at bay. But at the moment, TJ is really closing on them. And as they go into this mountain section where the Alpha 155 is probably the strongest car, we'll see how close he can get and can he make the move. So this is the view we've got from behind. That is TJ closing him down, and Belak desperately wants to keep him behind him. You can't make an overtake here unless, of course, you spin your car and face it in the wrong direction. Of course, I'm just gonna wet whistle there. So Belak is in fifth ahead of TJ in sixth. They go into Conrod. TJ not close enough to capitalise with the slipstream. He is closing a little bit, but he's not going to close up significantly enough before they reach this big braking zone here. And we will go around another lap before we see anything looking like an overtake. Unless, of course, Belak makes a mistake, which you don't like to see. Not often, anyway. There's Average Tom. He is the only hybrid driver left. We, of course, lost Roses to a technical issue. So he is running in 7th place in the American Muscle Mustang. It's very, I mean, even the name's very like Mustang. Very manly name for a car. And he's running in 7th at the minute, doing pretty average lap times. He had some bad lap 14, 15, 16. Or did he pit? No, he's pit. That's why he lost some time, because he looks like he's pit for the medium compound tyres. So he's decided to bin those softs, get on the mediums for a bit and run them for a little while by the looks of things. Brian Moncani, BM Racing. He is in the GTR. He is 4.2 seconds behind Average Tom. I don't think Average Tom has been. He's just running those mediums, isn't he, surely? Don't know. So yeah, BM Racing, he's running in 8th place at the moment. 16 seconds clear of the other GTR. That is the GTR of Risto Bratfanov. Hardwire, of course. 1.5 seconds is the gap back to Bandit. Holman J losing out to Bandit. So did he have a crash somewhere? We had a really bad lap there. Lap 16, a 2:31.0. So he was off the racetrack at some stage, and that allowed Bandit back through. So all the work that Old Man J had done to get ahead of Bandit, he's got to do again. He is chucking in very similar pace to the guys out in front, but he's got to get closer to make that capitalise. Makes the move there, but just a little bit too hot. Does rescue it, but does he rescue it quick enough to stop Bandit? He doesn't. Bandit goes back ahead, and Jay's going to have to sit in behind now and wait for another opportunity. Just a little bit too hot. It was a great attempt at an overtake, but just a little bit too much, and clips the wall and loses control and doesn't keep the place. Certainly looking quicker in terms of lap times though, so he's going to have to find a way around the VRC Motorsport liveried car of Bandit. And then Grid Troopers is bringing up the rear in proper American muscle. That is the Viper. So out in front, Yellow Sausages has finally made his way around Stormfly and got into the lead. He was knocking on the door constantly, trying to find a way through, and he has finally done so. He has been very consistently running in the mid 212s, low 213s. Stormfly, very similar pace, but couldn't keep Yellow Sausages behind him. These two are, at the moment, completely dominating this endurance race here at Bathurst. It'd be interesting to see how things change when we get into the as the light starts to fade and we get into the evening here, because it's a very tricky circuit when it's raining, when it's dark. Well, it's very tricky when it's raining here as well, but no, very tricky when it's dark here at Bathurst. Very hard to pick out your braking points, very hard to kind of see where you are in terms of track limits, and you have to kind of rely on really muscle memory as much as the kind of your markers around the track that kind of show you where you need to be and what you're looking for. I mean, every driver will have 2 or 3 kind of visual markers to sort of guide them as where they're braking, where they're turning in and that kind of thing. But in the dark, it can be very hard to spot those. Wiggy running comfortably in third at the moment. The gap back to Fubar is closing. In terms of consistency, though, he's probably the most consistent driver out there. If you look at that, 2:14.7, 2:14.1s, 2:14.1, 2:14.4, 2:14.9. Very, very consistent lap times. And that's the sort of thing that will get you further up the racetrack. And I don't know if he's going to... Excuse me, I don't know where that all came from. I don't know if he's going to how much he's going to close on the front too, but he's certainly the best of the rest at the moment. Fubar in that WRX, similar lap times, a little bit slower. Lap 16, 17. We're on lap 21 here, 45 minutes in. So essentially 1/4 distance. So that if we're at 1/4 distance and we've done 21 laps, then we're looking at an 84 lap race there or thereabouts. 84 lovely, lovely laps at Bathurst. And if you don't know this track like the back of your hand after 84 laps, then you're never going to know anything. Not only to all my cherries squeaking in. TJ running in 5th place. Again, good solid pace. He's ahead of Belak. He is 8 seconds ahead of Belak now. Can he close that 30-second gap? That 30-second gap. Not 37. 30-second gap to Fubar and bring himself into contention for a potential top 3 finish. Remember, he was second at Le Mans. And bear in mind that he was second at Le Mans after losing 2 minutes of time to a technical issue. We have lost one driver already, Roses, to a technical issue, but that was a technical issue that couldn't be fixed. TJ had a technical issue which he could fix, and he did fix, and brought himself back to second at Le Mans. So we know he's got some pace. Has he got enough pace to bring himself into a top 3 finish here? 8.5 seconds is the gap to Belak in the other Alfa Romeo, with the purple and white Alfa Romeo. 21 seconds he is ahead of Average Tom. The only remaining high pre driver. He's opted for the American muscle in that Mustang. In a nice big gap of his own on the racetrack at the moment. 21 seconds ahead is Belak. 10 seconds behind is Brian Moncani, BM Racing. Racing with the German flag, of course. It's not German, it's Belgian. It's Belgian, what I'm talking about. Of course it's Belgian. I don't know why I thought it was German. It's definitely Belgian. Christo from Bulgaria. He is 15 seconds back from Brian Moncani. Also running the Nissan GTR. 1.5 seconds ahead of Old Man J. Old Man J, who had a bad lap on lap 16 and undid a lot of the good work he did. Lost, 15, 16 seconds he lost on that lap. 16 seconds would be enough for him to be challenging at the back of Brian Moncani right now, almost. So he has now got to find the way to get around Hristo yet again and carry on his charge up that racetrack. Starting to show significant pace is Joe, who I'm going to thank again, because without his help and his input, this Mind event wouldn't be the success that I think it's been so far. So here we go, lap 22 about to begin, and he makes the move around Hristo. Hristo makes a mistake out of the final turn, and Old Man J up into 9th place. Good solid lap from him at 2:15.4, and that puts him up to 9th. He can now start the charge, the 16-second charge after Brian Moncani. There is Brian Moncani. He's lapping around the 2:16s, the mid to high 2:16s, and Old Man J has done mid 2:13, but at the moment lapping around the 2:15s. So 16 laps, he could be right on him. And we are, so we're still about 40 odd minutes away from any sort of pit window. The big question is going to be, and it will be rage on, is whether the those guys out front that still need to run the medium compound tire, which is most, to be fair, they still need to run the medium compound tire, whether they're going to run them for a full stint and take that couple of second lap pace loss, or are they going to put them on and then bin them very quickly? That's what old man Jay did. He put on the medium tyre, started the race, went into the end of lap 1, bin them onto the soft compound tyres, and he's now up to 9th place, and already closing the gap on BM Racing ahead of him. There's Bandit running in 11th place in the Atenza for VRC Motorsport. Blue flags out already. I say already, I mean we are 50 minutes into this race now, and as most endurance races we do are around the 50 or 60 minute mark. The fact that somebody's only just being lapped speaks volumes to the quality of all the drivers out there. And I do want to take this opportunity to thank everybody that is has been involved in this Mind series so far. You know, not just Jay who's kind of helped me out, but you know the people who've shared it in their groups, the people who've donated, especially the people who've donated. You're freaking awesome. But the people who've been involved in the races as well. As Risto into the pits, very early to be going in, I think, but he is going in all the same. And it is a Bandit being lapped by Yellow Sausages, the current race leader. Stormfly into the pit, so it is going to be a 2-stop race, and he's really burnt out those tyres on that Tenza. So very different strategies, and he is in the pits now. So Yellow Sausages will get a nice big chunky gap of racetrack between him and the rest of the field. So Stormfly in the pits. Is Wiggy, well, Wiggy is actually going in the pits as well in that Atenza. So the Atenza not so great on the front tyres, we can see. They're going to change out, so they're going to change out, I think, for the medium compound tyres and run quite long. So it'll be a long middle stint, and then, so it will be a 2-stopper. It'll be a soft, medium, soft is the order of the day here, I think. TJ coming through. Where does he pop out? He's now lapping for his troopers, of course. So he comes round into to complete lap 23 here at Mount Panorama in Australia. And I apologise to my Aussie friends for that awful impression of your accent. But he is still behind Wiggy. So Yellow Sausage is now 30 seconds clear of Stormfly. He doesn't need to pit yet. Those tyres are in good condition. He's got plenty of fuel on board. He could probably run to one stop this. The question is whether in one stopping it he has the pace on the medium compound tyre. That's the big question mark. So 31 seconds is the gap. His aim now is going to be to extend that lead and give himself an entire pit window of time between him and Stormfly. Stormfly is in second. The gap back to Fubar. Fubar did not pit. He stayed out in that WRX. It's 7.7 seconds. So we now have Fubar up in the top 3. And you know we haven't spoken much about Fubar today, to be fair. But he's a good outside bet actually for a top 3 spot. I mean, we talk about TJ doing well. We talk about Jay's doing really well and doing the kind of pace the top 3. And Wiggy, obviously. But Fubar's pace has been very, very consistent, very solid in that WRX. And he can certainly take this a bit longer into the race than it seems that Atenza has been able to go. So if he can hang, I mean, I don't think he could be able to hang it out to the midway point. It's going to be a 2-stopper for him. But he can, if he can take this to sort of beyond the 1 hour mark, which I think is not a big ask. We're at the 1 hour mark and it's 26. So, well, I said it was going to be for 80 odd laps tonight. I think I might be a little bit out in that. I think we're probably closer to 70 something. But anyway, if Fubar can take this, you know, to an hour and 20 minutes in on the soft compound tyres, so another sort of 20 minutes on those tyres, then he puts himself in quite a good position, because he can come in, put on the medium tyres and do a short medium tyre stint for about 20 minutes. Just a 20-minute stint on those medium tyres. Then come back in and put on the hard tyre, the soft compound tyre, and run to the end of the race with the softer compound tyre on again. So it could potentially put him in a position for a top 3 here. He is 23 seconds ahead of Wiggy. His aim has got to be opening up that gap as much as he can. Because Stormfly has come out on, and he's actually come out again on the soft tyres. So he's going to have to run the mediums at the end of this race. Wiggy has also come out on the soft. So they're both going to run the mediums later on in the race. Very, very strange strategy. You would have thought you'd want to get the medium tyres out of the way as quickly as possible, wouldn't it? But listen, there's a reason why these guys are lapping in the 213s, 214s, and I lap in the 220s, 225s, because they can drive and I freaking can't. So who am I to question their strategic decisions? Pirate, that's who I am. I'm the commentator. I can question whatever I like. They're all too busy driving to stop me. There is Belloc. Belloc is running in 7th in the Alpha 155. TJ putting out a big gap on him now. It's 17 seconds the gap behind TJ. But we know how, he can run forever. And he's used those medium compound tyres already. So actually, he's in quite a good position as well there in 6th. Because once he's ditched those medium compound tyres, he can use the softs all the way. Now, he should be able to take this car to the midway point and just one-stop this race and finish the race on the softs. Average Tom, he's on the medium compound tyres. I have a feeling I'm sure he started on the softs. I'm sure he started on the softs and changed out to those mediums. So I don't remember him starting on the mediums, to be fair. I could, of course, be wrong, but... And you know, I often am, of course. BM Racing, Brian Moncani in the GTR. 13.6 seconds back. He is another one that can possibly run to the midway point, certainly fuel-wise. Doing very, very well fuel-wise in that GTR. It's the front right tyre just showing the most signs of wear, but there's still plenty of tyre in that. Old Man J up to 9th place. It looks like, I was going to say, where is he? So Christo is out, but he has pit, so he's gone on to the medium compound tyres. 25 seconds behind Grizz Troopers. But bearing in mind that Grizz Troopers Bandit still needs pit, as does Old Man J, but not for a bit longer than them. And Bandit in the Atenza, he's taken it actually a lot longer than Stormfly and Wiggy took theirs. So he's gone almost to the hour mark, actually. And if he can take it to the hour mark, it's a very simple 1, 2, 3 stopping at exactly the same point. So the end of this lap, or maybe the lap after, I mean, the ideal is you want to stay on the soft tyres for as long as possible. No, the pace is still looking relatively good on those tyres. What you don't want is to have a position where you fall off a cliff with these tyres. And I'll tell you the worst thing to do around this track, and I've done it, so I can attest to it, is have your race strategy, know when you want to pit, have enough fuel to do one lap, forget to pit, run out of fuel just past the start-finish line, and have to do an entire lap at 50 miles an hour to go into the pit. So all the good work you did to get yourself up into the top half of the table is undone. And then, of course, because you've done that and you put it on fuel map 6 to try and save that fuel to make it to the end, you then forget that you've got it on fuel map 6 and then drive an entire stint on the wrong fuel map, wondering why you can't get the car up to speed. and then end up finishing plumb last, because when you do realise you've cocked up your strategy completely and you have to pit again when you shouldn't really have needed to. That's what I did the last time I raced around here. So these guys are already doing better than me. So old man Jay, head of Bandit, his gap to Brian Moncani hasn't really changed too much. Still 16 seconds. Pace dropped off a little bit for him at this stage, but that could be because he's using his indicator and it's slowing down. That could just be because he's looking after the tyres, looking after the fuel a little bit now. And going across the grass like that doesn't help. All that, but you can't park that there, mate. Gets it back onto the racetrack though, and away he goes. Didn't lose too much time there, but you don't really want to be taking those lines here. Yes, you are turning left. You can see that by your indication. And you can tell he doesn't drive a BMW because he's using his indicators. So 21 seconds now the gap, so a lot of work for him to do to move up the order. I certainly think that he can challenge in and around that. So as he said, Bandit coming in at the end of lap 26. So we're at the 1 hour mark of this 3 hour race, so 2 hours left to go. So let's talk again about why we're doing this. This is to raise money for the charity Mind. 1 in 15 people will attempt suicide at some point in their lifetime, and we will do our little bit to try and help change that. So we're going to stream 15 hours of endurance racing for your viewing pleasure and for our driving pleasure, and hopefully raise a few quid along the way. We've already raised over £400. If we can get to 500, awesome. We can get higher than that, even more awesome. So here's a little word from our sponsors, what all the reason we're doing it.
Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Mind's booklets.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
That's why we're doing it, and would really appreciate your support if you can. You know, whether it be a quid, £5, £1 million, whatever you got. In the immortal words of the king of telethon, Bob Geldof, give us your fucking money, or something like that. That's kind of like his accent. It's probably nothing like his accent, but that is me channeling the scruff bag that is Bob Geldof. So where are we in terms of the front runners? So Yellow Sausages is still yet to pit. Looks to me that he's going to try and run this, if the tyres hold out, of course, to the midway point and stop this race in that Alpha 155. The gap was over 30 seconds. Oh, excuse me. Don't know where that came from. That's an easy, especially for all you hay fever sufferers. 27 seconds of the gap. It was 30 seconds, so actually pace dropping off a little bit for Yellow Sausages there. But he is comfortably in the lead, and if he stops this race, it won't be too much of a problem if he loses out that place, because Stormfly will be stopping. Talking of Stormfly, there he is. 17 seconds is the gap between him and Fubar Philantis. Stormfly, of course, the Dutchman running in the Mazda Tenza. Not to be confused with the European Mazda, which is a completely different car that GMAC drives and leaves in the pits for 2 hours for every 3 hour race. There is Fubar running in the WRX, the only WRX runner, and looking really, really good. He is going to need to pit soon. The tyres are starting to drop off very quickly. It did look at one stage that he might take those to a one-stop strategy, but it just seems that at the moment the tyres are really starting to drop off very quickly. TJ running in 4th place. He's ahead of Wiggy, but only just. He does still need to pit. Wiggy has been into the pits, and TJ is definitely another one that's going to be able to take this car to a one-stop. So the Alpha 155 able to one-stop this race here at Bathurst. 1.7 seconds is the gap back to Wiggy. Wiggy looking a little bit racier in terms of pace. Will most certainly, he'll need to make the overtake, and need to make a gap because he will be two-stopping. He's on the soft tyres. He still needs to run a medium compound tyre. The question mark is, when is he going to do that? Is he going to do a full stint on the mediums when he finally does put them on? Or is he going to do a splash and dash, 1 lap medium run and then go back onto the softs again? Both him and Stormfly pitted before the 1 hour mark. So are they going to do the same again after these tyres have run down just before the hour mark again? Then run one more on the softs in the same ilk and then just do a couple of laps at the end on the mediums? Who knows? There is a Belek. Him and TJ were in a bit of an Alpha battle. They're not anymore, but we know what a good position the Alpha 155 is in. The only issue I think Belek's going to have is fuel-wise. If he wants to one-stop this race, he's going to have to start looking after the fuel in the Alpha, because he's burned a little bit more than he would have liked to, I think, at this stage for a one-stop. So might have to just drop off the pace a touch to drag this out to make it work as a one-stop. Average toms are on the medium tyres now, so they are the alternate tyre. Only the softs for him from this point onwards. I have a feeling he went in and changed onto those medium tyres. So Belek, of course, on the medium tyres as well, so he can run one full stint on the softs. So I have a feeling, and I didn't see him go in, and in terms of the times, there's no suggestion that he did, but I have a feeling he did change out those medium tyres for soft, or from the soft, shall I say. His teammate Roses, we've lost two actually. We've lost Roses to a technical issue. Can't park that there, mate. There we go, back onto the racetrack. We lost, unfortunately lost Roses to a technical issue and disconnection for Mr. Anderson. So two of our debutants out to technical issues, and I'm assuming they were both technical issues, one being an internet one and one being a brake one. Brian Moncani, he is running in 8th place at the moment, 17 seconds back in that GTR, just being lapped actually by Yellow Sausages. So just showing that it's now starting to see how much the pace out front is differing from the midfield. 3 seconds a lap after 30 laps. You can see why he is now being lapped. But he's in a nice bit of road at the moment to himself. And Old Man Jay not able to close that gap. He didn't have a great lap 26 by looks of things. And he's ahead of Bad. He's ahead of Risto. He's ahead of Grizz. But has he lapped Risto? He has indeed. Risto's some way back because Old Man Jay is lapping him. That's why I got confused, because I'm looking and thinking, well, where's number 10? So Old Man Jay's in 9th, Risto's in 10th. So he has been lapped, Risto has, as has Grizz Troopers by Old Man Jay, who's up in 9th place. Bandit is 41 seconds back from Old Man Jay. Is he able to close the gap on Risto Bradford of Hardwire? Clearly had a very, very long pit. He did it. Incredibly long pit stop. So, so his lap 22 was a 2:42. Lap 23 was a 3:09, and then a 2:41 on lap 24. Did he? I think he must have paused the game and gone for a wee and a fag or whatever he did at that stage, which has cost him an awful lot of time. Because of course we have got the auto drive on to allow people to just step away if they need to. I think we lost Smoky Tom last week because of his backache. I know that Patrick, who is sick today, rest well and get well soon. Really struggled with his back after the race last week. So the auto drive is there just to give people an opportunity if they want to take a lap or two and let the car take itself around the track. There is that opportunity to do so. But I'll tell you who won't be taking up that offer, and that's this guy here, Yellow Sausage. He's got the gap back to over 30 seconds. Fastest lap of the race is still with him. That's 2:11.5. He is the current championship leader. Let's remind you of those current standings. So there we go. He won race number 1 at Le Mans 2 weeks ago in a very, very classic race car from Masters. I think that was College Road. Won that race just under 2 minutes ahead of TJ. But let's put that in perspective. TJ lost 2 minutes to a technical issue. So maybe yes, it's a bit lucky. But then you say that if they'd been racing side by side, you don't know how much extra pace Sausages would have needed to have put in, and may have well done so. Or the two of them could have crashed, and Wiggy could have won the race. But that's the current lineup. So as it stands at the moment, Yellow Sausages will extend his lead at the top by 3 points. So it'll be 2-6. He'll lead by 6 points. Fubar, currently sitting in 6th in the championship, is currently 3rd on the racetrack. He does need to pit in that WRX. He's trying to hang out for as long as possible. I said 1 minute 20. I still stand by that. I think he can still do another 4, maybe 5 laps and hang that car out there for a bit. Give himself a short middle stint on those medium compound tyres. He's certainly in a good position. And it's I've just remembered who we are missing. We're missing Jersey. We did keep a space open for him, but he didn't come. There's TJ running in 4th place. TJ is 2nd in the championship, so 4th is a good point for him. It's a good haul of 18 points, so that'll keep him in there or thereabouts. But he has got Wiggy calling all over him. Wiggy currently 3rd in the championship. He'll want to stay ahead of him because these guys are racing each other for not only track position but a championship position. So the idea for him is to have, and we've lost Average Tom from this room. I hope that wasn't a disconnection. Who else have we lost? So we've lost Average Tom. So both High Pre drivers gone from this race. Such a shame. So we've lost 3. We're not even at the halfway point yet. We lost 3 in the entire race last time out and ended up with 11. And lo and behold, we're in the same position again today. And it's such a shame. Sorry, you couldn't last it out, buddy. It's a difficult race, man. It's a difficult race doing 3 hours, and but that's why we put the auto drive on. So the option is there to just press pause, and we hear about mental health, to be fair. So press pause, and I know he had a problem with his brake. Such a shame because he was running just outside the top 3 at the time and pushing those guys quite heavily. But because we've got the auto drive on, there's no harm in pressing pause and just letting the car travel around the track for a few laps. But I suppose if you can't do it, you can't do it. It's one of those things. It is 3 hours, and I think if it's gone just past the hour mark, and you think you've got another. I don't know why you picked that car, man. It's a really odd choice for Bathurst to pick a big American muscle car like Good Strips here has picked the Viper, and you went for the Mustang. A really odd car choice, I think, for this track. Here, the Alpha is really strong. The WRX looking pretty strong. GTR not so much. The GTR it's in a similar kind of vein to the muscle cars, although a little bit more agility. Ford fanboy, I suppose. I'm a little bit gutted actually that when they brought the Cosworth out, they didn't give us a GR4 version. That would be so freaking cool, a GR4. But to be fair, if we had a GR4 Cosworth, I'd drive all the time, even if it was slow. So what else we've got in terms of cars? The Alfa Romeo 155 seems to be the car choice. The Tenza's doing quite well, although Tenza is a 2-stop car. The 155 1-stop. Again, I don't know if the Aston Martin was a great car for around here either. I think these little kind of nimble little cars, I think that's where you win out. Because although the Alfa really, really doesn't have the straight line speed, especially in Conrod and the top end of Conrod, but in this mountain section, it's so agile around these corners. Hopefully you'll come back for us for next week for Daytona. We know you're a Daytona wizard. You've got to do Daytona, man. You've got to do Daytona. You're a bit of a wizard there. So Yellow Sausage does finally come into the pits. So he didn't 2-stop this race. He didn't 1-stop this race. He's gone for the 2-stop option. So everybody going for the two-stop option. Yeah, the Supra's not a bad shout either. The Supra's a pretty good shout for it. WRX Supra, although the Supra's a little bit tyre heavy, I think. But I don't think any much more so than the WRX. Is what it is. Is what it is. So Stormfly does take the lead of this race. Yeah, GR3s, the Daytona races. So start thinking about your car now, mate. Start thinking about your car now. So Stormfly does take the lead. He has already pit in that Atenza, but he's only 1.2 seconds ahead. So he has gained a position, but he's gone on the soft tyres. He still needs to use the medium compound tyre. Yellow Sausages has done that already. So I think he's gone. I'm hesitant to guess that this is the strategy he's going to go for. The strategy that I thought would be, yeah, it's not a bad shout in the SLSR. Yeah, the strategy I thought that a couple of others might be doing, which is to run the first stint. Well, I said an hour and 20 minutes. So he did an hour, just shy of an hour and 15 on the soft tyres. Or you have some sugar. Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, so but let me do a quick talk about this. So he's done the first stint on the soft tyres, run the mediums, I suspect, to give him about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes left in the race, and then he'll run the rest of the race on the softs. We know Stormfly's going to have to pit again in or around the 2-hour mark will be the next pit stop. And we're just starting to see the light fading. It won't be long before these guys are racing in the dark. That's when I love it. That's when it all goes horribly wrong. No one can see a thing, including them. That's the great thing about it. So, where is Belak? There is Belak. He is running in 6th place. He is gone to have some sugar. I'm assuming that he actually means sugar and not something else white that picks you up when you're racing. Or he could mean the other kind of sugar that your girlfriend might suggest that you have. Give me some sugar, love. That kind of sugar. Running in 6th place, 42 seconds back from the battle between Wiggy and TJ, which is no longer a battle because TJ has opened up the gap to 8.7 seconds. Did Wiggy have a problem maybe? We'll have a look at the end of this lap as he turns in now into the final turn, whether he had a bit of a wobble and it's cost him some time. So he will cross the line. That is a 2:23. So yes, it looks like Wiggy did have a bit of a problem. So Stormfly in the lead from Yellow Sausages, but already, despite being on the... okay, that makes more sense. I know the feeling, mate. I'm also diabetic, so I'll feel your pain, buddy. Feel your pain. Yeah, so Stormfly is in the lead, 8 tenths up, but already Yellow Sausages, despite being on those medium tyres, is closing the gap. 27 seconds is the gap back to Fubar Fernandez. Not able to... he's been in that top 3 now for some time, and he's really run that car out there. I think he has been trying desperately to get this car to the halfway point, but he can still one-stop this because he's got plenty of fuel left, and the medium tyres should last out. So Belek jumping into the pits, he's going to swap out those medium compound tyres and put on something a little bit faster. Be interested to see what his pace is like on the soft. We've seen pretty much everyone else's pace on the soft tyres. We haven't seen his as yet. So, yeah, Fubar running in 3rd. He's been in 3rd for some time, but since Wiggy went in the pits, and he's not been able to regain that place just yet. Now, he is 28 seconds behind the front 2 battle, which is raging on. But, I mean, to be fair, Jensen just doesn't need to push too hard. He's in quite a unique position in that their pit stops do not align. So, and he knows he's going to be on the soft tyres when Stormfly is on the mediums. TJ running in 4th. Wiggy is 7 seconds back from TJ in fifth place. He has pit already. He's going to pit again in about 40 minutes, there or thereabouts, as we're starting to see the sunset here. Brian Moncani, he is 1 minute back in 6th place. So some way, essentially, it's that distance. So Wiggy in turn 1, Brian Moncani just coming round into Conrad. That's the difference between them. It's quite a big gap there, and there's some work to do there. Old Man J 19 seconds back. He's ahead of Belak now. Belak's been into the pits. Old Man J, remember, put the medium tyres on the start of the race, dived into the pits at the end of lap 1, and then has been slowly making his way back through the field. He was at one stage chucking in 2-minute 13s, but I think on a bit of a fuel save mission has dropped the pace a little bit into the 2:15, 2:16, 2:17 mark. So he is 18 seconds back from Brian Moncani, but will probably stay out a little bit longer than Brian Moncani, but not much. So there's still a bit of work to do. I'm not necessarily sure that the strategy that worked quite well for him, definitely I think it works at Le Mans, but I'm not quite sure it works quite so well here. As we start to see the light fading, just getting my Pepsi open, so I don't lose my voice. There we go. So Belak's been in the pits. He's now on the soft tyres. Keen to see what his pace is going to be like on those soft tyres. Now he's getting his blood sugar up, and obviously feeling his pain with diabetes. Mine, to be fair, is self-inflicted. I don't know if yours is. I'm assuming it's not. He's got blood sugar issue. Mine is completely self-inflicted from being a greedy fat bastard, essentially. Greedy old fat bastard. So there is Belak. He's running in 8th place in the Alpha 155. Was 6th at one stage, but remember that there are people in front of him still need to go in the pits. 27 seconds behind Old Man J, and on the soft tyres now, so his pace on those soft tyres is what I want to see now. So he's done a 2:57.8. Let's do it on board with Belak actually, see what it looks like from his perspective. So as we start to see the light fade, we'll show you actually what it looks like with the where the braking points are harder to see in the dark once it gets fully dark, and we'll do that actually with one of the front runners. We'll do a sort of comparison. What I should have done really was recorded one of their laps in the light and then done a side by side comparison in the dark, and where it's harder to see the braking points. Oh, is there a spin there? Here's a spin there from Belak. Didn't see him do that on the medium tyres, so just a little bit too hot there, and loses the back of that 155. That's going to cost him some time, and that's going to allow Bandit to really close up that 4-second gap behind him. So here he comes around, so we're not going to see his pace this lap. Let's no longer give him any shame in there. So Bandit's close the gap now to 4.2 seconds. Because of the little slip up there. Bandit's quickest lap, 2:14.7. So not hugely off the pace, to be fair. And steadily, little 2:15, 2:16, 2:15s in that Atenza. He has, of course, already pit. He will need to pit again at some stage. Hardwire Aristo in the GTR. When the crowd say Bolt Selector. From Bulgaria, running in 10th place. He is 5 minutes behind the leader. He's on lap 35. Stormfly's on lap 38, so some way back. Gris Trooper's 35 seconds behind him from United States of America. And it's very, very dark now. So this is what it looks like when you, it's not super dark here yet, which is darker in the bottom end of the track than it is in the mountain section, but that will change. There's not many lights around here, so you can't even rely on the lights on the front of the car to guide you. Yellow Sausage is still 1 second behind. Some blue flags are waving. They're obviously not for Stormfly, but they're for someone in and around them there. But this is not the section to be moving over. It could actually be for whoever that is just out in front. When you get it close, I'll tell you who it is. So you can see just how dark it's going to be when they get up into the end of Conrod Strait. Some really good light there from the front of the car, but it's not super easy to see where your brake points are. And surely, if you have a little smash, you should break your lights just to mix things up a bit. So down to the end of this lap, it is very, very dark. So stars are out. We're in the nighttime part of this 24-hour cycle. Excuse me. I think it's time for a cigarette, you know. Here we go. So that is actually, I mean, to be fair, the lights on this Tenza are pretty darn good, and don't really struggle too much to see the brake points. Left Brian Moncani up ahead in 6th place. Just coming up to lap him now is Stormfly and Yellow Sausages, and the gap between them is 1.5 seconds. Heading up into the mountain section again, they are. TJ 1 minute back from that battle, so they're on opposite sides of the racetrack. TJ now up into 3rd. Fubar has been into the pits and comes back out on the medium compound size. Does he run this to the end? I think it really, really depends on the level of pace that Fubar can get. If he can maintain a loss of only about, anywhere between half a second to a second a lap off the pace of the soft compound size, then it's worth running it to the end. He's in a quite decent position there in 5th. Wiggy Head needs to stop. TJ definitely needs to stop. He will, however, he's going to one-stop this race, Definitely going to one-stop this race. So, Fubar, if they're both one-stopping, that is where these two are racing, because he's what? So Fubar's 8 seconds behind Wiggy, and we know Wiggy will need to stop again in that Tenza. So the one-stopper's in a really, really good position. Even if they are on the medium compound tyre. So we're coming up to the halfway point here, and we'll have a full rundown very, very soon. I'll be back shortly. Thanks for bearing with me during that break. So, we come back and Yellow Sausages has regained the lead of this race. I missed it though because I wasn't watching, but I left it on for you guys because I know it's going to happen because that's how good I am. But why did Stormfly's had a massive off, 50 seconds of the gap, so actually didn't have to make the overtake because Stormfly himself had a very bad lap 40, 2:33, and that's put him. I was going to say put him into the clutches of TJ, but TJ's got a 1 second penalty to serve. Horrible place to serve it. Look how much time you lose here. So much speed you lose. And watch the gap now from Wiggy, how much that comes down. And we'll see just how much time he lost. So 1 second penalty. And by the time he gets to the end of this straight, we'll see just how much time that has cost him. So Wiggy will come down the Conrod straight. He's got a bit of slipstream from Ballack to help him out here actually. Although they're not racing, they're part of the racetrack. But by the time he gets to the end of the Conrod, yeah, so it's almost 2 seconds. Almost 2 seconds that's cost him. So we're at the halfway point, 1 hour 30 minutes into this 3-hour race here at Mount Panorama. Great racetrack in Australia, and I know it looks like a pre-designated circuit, but it's not. This is actually a road circuit. All around this circuit there are houses everywhere, houses and farms and all sorts. And when they're not running little races around this track, there is these are normal everyday roads with very, very strict speed restrictions as it happens, which are policed quite well. Now the question you're going to ask is, how do you get to your house when there is a 24-hour race on? Well, there is, I am reliably informed by my friend Benji from ISA, the resident Australian, that they actually have tunnels which allow them to get in and out of the track here at Bathurst, so they can actually get out to the exit. The exit is, where are we? Yes, there, where he's just gone. So the exit is just behind there, just behind the final turn, off to the right hand side. So instead of turning left, you would turn right if it was a road. But yeah, there are some tunnels that allow them to get in and out on a regular basis. But what an awesome place to live! If I had the money, I would buy one, because living right next to a race like that is just something brilliant. So 53 seconds ahead is Yellow Sausages. He's going to run a short stint on these medium tyres, get rid of them and go back onto the softs and run it as a 2-stop. Stormfly is 2-stopping in the Atenzo. He's 53 seconds back for the lead now. He had a very bad lap on lap 40, a very bad lap on lap 41 as well. Cost himself loads and loads of time in the dark. So it's that issue with the brake points. I mean, look, you can see that you do have some pretty good light from inside your car. So I suppose it depends which view you're using, really. Yeah, you lose a lot of time. TJ's cut that gap down to 10 seconds. Bristow just getting out of his way as he's breezing through. He's in the top 3. He has still yet to pit. He's gone way, way past the midway point. I think he's just going to take this as far as he can on the softs and run a 1-stop, which could play into his hands for a top 3 here. Wiggy running in 4th currently. He's going to have to pit again at some point and put on the medium compound tyres, as will Stormfly. I have a feeling this might drop them out of the top 3, you know, because we've got Yellow Sausages running very well out in front. We've got TJ on a 1-stop strategy, currently sitting in 3rd. We've got Fubar also on a 1-stop strategy, sitting in 5th place, and he's going to gain. In fact, I think we'll see Fubar back up into 3rd, and he ran 3rd for a long, long portion of this race as well. I think we'll see him running back in 3rd place once Wiggy and TJ, so TJ's jump into the pits shortly, I would have thought, in a couple of laps' time at least. Maybe lap 45, 46, we'll see him come in. Wiggy will come in somewhere in the next sort of 25, 30 minutes maybe. And then Fubar should move up into the top 3. Brian Moncani, 54 seconds back. And we've now lost Bellac. Bellac, another casualty. So this 3-hour race thing, people are looking at it as a very good idea, but they're not lasting the distance, which is a real crying shame. Real crying shame. I don't know if it might be related to Bellac's medical condition, so I'm not going to be too harsh on him. If he's got low blood sugar and he's struggling, it's one of those things you can't really last it. And it's a shame actually, because I thought Bellac was going to be another potential for an outside chance of the top 3. So really a real shame to lose Bathurst. We've lost Roses for a technical issue. We very early on lost Mr. Anderson. Don't know if that was a technical issue or not. We haven't heard anything from him. To the contrary, we lost our Average Tom. Average Tom really struggling with the car and couldn't do any longer. So we lost him as well. We lost Belak now, which you think is probably related to a low blood sugar issue. It's not easy. It's one thing. You've got to concentrate for what we've done 42 laps. We're going to be somewhere around the 80 lap mark. We're going to be at the end of this race. It's a lot of laps to do. It's a lot of time to spend racing the car, and really difficult for these drivers. And you've got to commit anyone that can. I mean, even doing an hour and a half is complicated. It's difficult. It's it's a long race. So last in the distance is a very impressive thing to do. But anyway, so there we are. Old Man Jay moves up into 8th place. We just saw him overtaking Christo to move up into 8th. He's on lap 43. We've got the leaders are up on lap 44 at the moment. Bandit is the next target for Old Man Jay. 18 seconds up the road. In terms of lap times, we've got Bandit running on the soft tyres in the Atenza. We've got Old Man Jay's just come back out of the pits. He's on the soft tyres. He's already used the medium tyres. He got rid of those on lap 1. He had no interest in driving any time at all on those. So he is in 8th place. He's got Wiggy just coming up to lap him. Worst place really to encounter a car you need to lap in this mountain section. There is nowhere for the cars to go. And Old Man Jay's in his own little race. He's got he's chasing down Bandit just up ahead. He's got Christo behind him. The last thing he would, I would say, Christo's behind him is a lap behind him. So he's just not going to want to be moving over and letting Wiggy through at this stage. But I'm sure when it comes to the Conrod, which is where they're coming up to now, he will pull off the racing line and let Wiggy through. Give Wiggy a little bit of slipstream first, so Wiggy gets a good exit, gets in the slipstream. I'm sure they're communicating now over comms to sort that issue out as they head down. Or maybe it might be they might do it later. I suppose it depends on pace, isn't it? So Grid Troopers at the rear. We're down to 10 of the 14 we started with. Mr. Anderson left us very early on. Then we lost Roses to a technical issue, while Roses was battling actually for a very good chance at top 3. Then we lost Average Tom, couldn't last it out, was struggling a little bit. And then we finally just lost Belak, who I suspect is having a blood sugar issue, being that he is diabetic. Hope you are okay, my friend. So Grid Troopers at the rear of the pack in the American Muscle Dodge Viper. He is 15 seconds back from Hristo Bravinov Hardwire running the GTR. They are a couple of laps down from Old Man Jay running in 8th place. He's trying to close the gap on BM Racing, Brian Moncani, who's 17 seconds up the road, also running the GTR. But he's only 1.2 seconds behind Bandit. So I say 1.2 seconds. That is now a lot closer. Bandit is just been lapped by TJ. Is Brian Moncani going to make a move as they come out of the stadium section? And then the power of that GTR against the Atenza could be an interesting battle to see what straight line speed is like when they hit Conrod, which will be in a couple of corners' time. So come through these really complicated S's, and racing that close through the S's is always dangerous, especially if one of those cars in front of you clips a wall or has an error. As we saw earlier, actually, Grizz clipped the wall and nearly took Jay with him. It did cost Jay some time, and that was really early on, lap 3, lap 4, something like that, really early in the race. So Brian Moncani closing now on Bandit. He is in that slipstream. This is his view. Can he close on that Tenza? The only thing really saving Bandit here is the fact that Bandit himself has some slipstream from TJ in 3rd, up ahead of him. You're all over the racetrack now. Loads of different. They're not there. He's obviously not racing TJ. TJ is a lap or two ahead. But some really good racing from those 2 Dutchmen. We've got 3 Dutchmen in the group, all I'm sure with massive smiles on their faces today, having got through to the next round of the World Cup, of course. So into the final corner, down towards Hell Corner. Hell Corner, number 1, aptly named after, and it used to be called Hell Corner. Interesting fact. So on the left-hand side here, Hell Corner, there used to be a massive tree stump. Well, it was a massive tree, and then it became a tree stump when they cut it down. And lots of people kept hitting it and dying, so they eventually took it out, but that's why it was named Hell Corner. Is Brian Moncani able to make a move on Bannier? He's got a really good run out of Hell into the slipstream. They're side by side. This looks like he might make the overtake. He's got the inside line going into this right-hander, and under braking he makes that overtake. He's up into 6th place. That's a position gain for Brian in the GTR. Next target is going to be Fubar, but Fubar is 1 minute up the road. Almost, I mean, he's closer. He's closer to the back of Brian Moncani's car than Brian Moncani is to the back of his. That's how far ahead he is. And he's running that WRX, I think, to the end of this race. And to be fair, the pace on those medium tyres, not too dissimilar to the pace he was running on the soft compound tyres. Not losing huge amounts of time, so I think we can expect to see him at some point moving into the top 3. So who they're not racing each other at the moment, but who's racing who? So let's have a look out front. So Yellow Sausage is 57 seconds ahead of Stormfly. Stormfly's got a significant amount of work to do in order to catch Yellow Sausages, and it's a similar story to last week, actually, or the week before last at Le Mans, where Stormfly had the odd spin here or there. Yellow Sausages kept it clean, and this alludes to something I say on quite a regular basis, that the best way to win a race isn't necessarily to be the fastest, although it helps. It's to be the most consistent and not to make mistakes. Now, that said, Yellow Sausages did make a mistake, but if you're going to make it, you make it when everyone's really close. He made his on lap 1 and found himself down in 7th place going into lap 2. But was close enough to make the move, was quick enough to make some moves through, got himself back into leaders race, and has dominated really from start to finish yet again. He did it last time out. Long endurance racing seems to be Chris's forte. Really good. He was umming and ahhing about the car right up until the last. So doing a very good job in the Alpha 155. So 58 seconds is the gap back to Stormfly. They're at different ends of the mountain section. Quite different ends, so a lot of work for Stormfly. Bear in mind, Stormfly's going to have to pit again, as has Yellow Sausages, but Stormfly is on the medium tyres now. He's going to have to switch out to those softs. Yellow Sausages will switch back to the soft tyres at some stage. So TJ goes into the pits. This is his first pit stop and will be his only pit stop. He's going to put on the medium tyres and I suspect run all the way to the end of this race in the Dutch Alpha 155. As we thought, that promotes Fubar up to 4th place. He's 17 seconds behind Wiggy, who does have to pit again. When does Wiggy pit? Well, it's going to be... he pit just before the hour mark, first time out, so I think we're going to see him pit around the same time again, possibly when Stormfly does, but he's going to be finishing this race on the medium compound tyres. That in itself isn't ideal, because he's going to have Fubar and TJ most likely in front of him, and chasing them down when they're both going to be running soft compound tyres. Oh no, TJ's gone for the softs again. He still needs to run the medium tyres. He's only run the softs. Very odd strategy, because I don't understand why he's done that, because he knows it, so he's got to pit again. But he could have one-stopped this race by going on to the mediums. His pace was sufficient to take him into the top 3, even while running the medium tyres, I think. I think that's a strategy cocker. We'll see. I don't know what his thinking was behind that. Maybe he's just going to last lap dive into the pits and put it on, depending on where he is. But there will be a penalty applied if you don't run both compounds. I haven't discussed what that penalty will be, but it will be a hefty time penalty. Couldn't think of the word. Time penalty, that's the word I'm looking for. And the time penalty will have to reflect how much time you've gained by not using the medium compound tyre. So at least the length of a pit stop, if not more. But I might have to start thinking about that just in case that's the case. Who knows? So Brian Moncani, he is on the medium tyres. He's in that GTR. He is 1 minute back in 6th place. Just 2.7 seconds ahead of Bandit, running in the Atenza. And at the moment, Old Man J, 9.7 seconds back. But Bandit has got to be his target for Old Man J. Surely got to be his target. He pits on lap 41. That was his second pit stop. I remember he put on the medium tyres early doors and got rid of them at the end of lap 1. So he will run to the end of this race. He's or will he run? Actually, he should be able to get to the end of this race on those tyres in that car with that fuel. Should be able to get to the end of this race. That might put it on. We know Bandit's got to stop again. So the person he's racing at the moment is Brian Moncani. So the people that are racing who? So Stormfly and Yellow Sausages are racing. Although at the minute it's a one-horse race with Yellow Sausages not only 1 second clear, but opening up the gap despite being on the they're both on medium tyres at the moment. And Stormfly's got to stop again at some stage. Oh no, he doesn't. He's been into the pits, hasn't he? So actually, he didn't have a problem. He wins the pits. That's ignore me. So lap 40, 41. He went into the pits lap 40. Come out lap 41. So he's going to run to the end on those mediums, I think. But yeah, he's got a lot of work to do because Yellow Sausages is not going to stop again. We will need to stop again. He's got to put on the medium compound tyres. So he is 17 seconds ahead of Fubar. Fubar, who can run to the end. If he maintains that gap, he is going to take third. TJ 27 seconds back. But he's going to have to pit again now. He's put himself in a very difficult position because I thought he was going to try and one-stop this, which would have been the ideal scenario, bearing in mind when he went in. And I really thought him and Fubar would have a bit of a race going on. But for some reason, the gap is just huge. So we'll see how this escalates. But at the moment, TJ, I think, has strategied himself out of a top 3 here, or even the potential top 3. So for me, at the moment, Fubar is looking very, very strong for a top 3 finish. Brian Moncani, running in 6th. He's some way behind TJ. I think TJ's probably going to. I think that's probably TJ's limit is 5th place here. Back end of that GTR stepping out here in the darkness in Australia. And I'll tell you what, those photographers in the dark standing there, you've got to have balls to still do that. That's actually his fastest lap of the race he's done on those medium tyres in the dark. So kudos to him for that. Bandit running 7 seconds back. He's got Old Man J just 4 seconds behind. He's closing in. Is he running to the end of the race? I suspect he probably is. We've got an hour and 10 minutes left of this race here. We're on lap 48. And what do we think? We think 60 odd laps, don't we? We think 70. Let's say 75 laps is my guesstimate. It is a brilliant track, Connie. You're absolutely right. It is a brilliant track. And it's a shame we've lost 4 people in this race so far. 1 to a technical issue, absolutely nothing to do with that. 1 to a health issue, I suspect. 1 because he was struggling. 1, there is a question mark over whether he rage quit or not. I mean, to be fair, he was in a good position, so he shouldn't have rage quit. But he's the only person that hasn't come back and said, I couldn't do it because X, Y, Z. But there we go. So, Old Man J, I think he's in a strong position for potentially top 6. Because if we consider the Bandit does have to stop again, and he'll probably do it at the end of this lap, that will promote Old Man J up into 7th, easily up into 7th. Then we've got Brian Moncani, who's not got enough fuel to make it to the end, so he's going to have to stop again and go on the soft tyres. So that will put Old Man J up into 6th place. The question is can Old Man J close that gap to TJ? If he can, TJ has yet to run the medium compound tyre. Now, he could have stopped this race if he had put the mediums on when he stopped, but he didn't, and I can't for the life of me work out why. It certainly is a bit of a head scratcher that he's opted to go back onto the soft tyres. Fubar up ahead, he is running to the end of this race. He's run the softs, he's now on the medium tyres in the WRX. Should take this easily to the end of this race. 20 seconds back from Wiggy, but Wiggy needs to stop again in the next couple of laps. That's going to give Fubar a way back into the top 3. And quite surprised actually, and not surprised because I don't think Fubar is up to it. Surprised because of how quick Wiggy, Stormfly, Yellow Sausages, and obviously Roses were early on. But Fubar, to be fair, has put himself in the right position. He has benefited from the technical difficulty that Roses had, which took him outside that battle for the top 3, or took him out of the race completely, because his brakes failed on, or his brake pedal essentially failed on him. Although he was working on the controller, so it was the brake button, shall we say. He's not getting a new control till Christmas, so we might struggle to see him race for a bit if you can't get that fixed. Maybe throw it at a wall and see if that does it. So Wiggy's got pit again. Now Stormfly has been in for his second stop, but he is running the medium tyres. He's a minute behind the leader, Yellow Sausages, and he's going to have to pit again, but he's a minute behind, so he's got a nice comfortable gap as Yellow Sausages out in front, and very soon he's going to be on the soft compound tyres. He went for a long stint on the softs early on, held that car out there until he put on the mediums for a very, very short stint on the mediums, and he'll go back into the pits at the end of this lap, and pretty much bang on the money. He did an hour and 10 minutes first stint, he did 40 minutes in the middle stint, and then another hour and 10 minutes for the final stint on the softs. He will come out in the lead. That gap is 1 minute to Stormfly VR46. So Yellow Sausages led from the outset. He was the pole sitter. Lap 1, he had a massive wobble, dropped him down to 7th place, and then got back on it like a car body. He's going one more lap. I'm looking at that fuel and I'm thinking, fuck me, you're brave. You're very, very brave. I'm not sure. And anyone that was listening earlier, I told my tale of woe of not pitting with low fuel, and what happened was I got to the top of this hill right here. I was on fuel map 6 because I knew I was running low. I got to this top of the hill here and I ran out of fuel and had the whole lap to do on fuel map. Well, I say for fuel map, I didn't have any fuel. I basically went around at 50 miles an hour. Finally got in, having lost all the places I'd gained, and but then he is quite good at fuel saving and tyre saving. Clearly proving to be the endurance master, because he is the current championship leader. So after the first race in Le Mans, he won that race. He won it by under 2 minutes from this guy here, TJ. TJ got his strategy bang on right that day. Was only a couple of technical issues with his wheel that cost him 2 minutes, and actually probably would have won the race had he not had those problems. This time though, it looks to me that he's cocked up the strategy. He should be on the medium tyres now, running to the end, but for some reason, unbeknownst to me or anyone with any brain cells, he's not. He's on the softs, and obviously I can check, but I don't remember him pitting any other time. I'm pretty sure. No, I'm not. No, I'm 99.9% confident that he didn't pit when I went for a cigarette, because he pitted just after that, but on the softs. Back of the pack there is Risto at the back. He is 1 minute 38 seconds back from Grizz Troopers. They're on lap 48. The leader's on lap 52. That's the difference in pace. We've lost 4 from this race. We started with 14. We were due to start with 15, but Jersey didn't make it in time. So we started with just the 14 runners, and we've lost 4 so far. One more than we lost last week. We finished with 11 last week from 14 runners. Only lost 3. But them's the breaks, aren't they? But last week the 3 were all rage quitters, which is really frustrating. This week's slightly different scenario. It was a health issue and a technical issue and one potential rage quit, I think. So 1 minute 41 is the gap to Grizz Troopers. Grizz Troopers opting for a very strange choice in car for Bathurst, but all the same, he's making it work. He's up into 9th place. He is 1 minute ahead, or 1 minute 41 seconds ahead of Christo. Some way behind Bandit. So Bandit is 2 laps even. 2 laps ahead on lap 51. He's 1.8 behind Old Man J. He's running those racing soft tyres. He's going to pit at the end of this lap though. So Old Man J has made it around him, but his race is no longer with him. His race is going to be Bandit's race. I think he's going to in short. Well, I say short. He says ahead of Grizz and Risto. I think that's a foregone conclusion. He's going to do that. There is Old Man J. Swapped out those medium tyres at the end of lap 1. Had no interest in racing on those today, and ran quite a long way on the first set of soft tyres. He's going to finish this race on a set of soft tyres with plenty of fuel, and I think Brian Moncani will be looking in his mirrors very soon. There is Brian Moncani. He is a bit low on fuel to the he's going to have to pit. So he might be looking in his mirrors, but it won't really matter because the position is going to get taken regardless when he goes into the pits. So TJ is 1 minute 27 seconds up the road. He has to pit again to swap out those soft tyres for a set of mediums. 26 seconds behind Fubar, who is running to the end of this race. He is 18 seconds behind Wiggy, currently running in the top 3 in the Atenza. Wiggy just coming up behind Brian Moncani to lap him. So we go. Yellow Sausage jumps into the pits for his final stop to start his final stint on the soft compound tyres. Wiggy will run one of probably the end of this lap. I think he'll come in and then he'll run the softs to the end of this race. So he has had to do it in a 2-stop 1 hour. He's broken the race up essentially into 3 1-hour segments. Stormfly did do similar, but pitted a little bit earlier, so he's left himself having to run longer in the third of his stints. After his second pit stop. He was 1 minute behind Yellow Sausage, who is currently in the pits. Where is he currently? So Stormfly is just coming round now. Where is Yellow Sausages? Yellow Sausages, 3-second penalty for him. Now, how far ahead is he? 42 seconds. Actually, a lot more than I thought it was. A lot more than I thought it was. So 42 seconds is the gap. So, 15 seconds. He's going to lose, 3 seconds. To be fair, 3 seconds on the Comrod here. That's going to cost some time, to be fair. I think the only saving grace he's going to have is one, that he is 15 seconds ahead. 2, he's on racing soft tyres to Stormfly's mediums. So Wiggy does come into the pits. So as we thought, Fubar is going to move up into the top 3. And at the moment, for me, I can't see his race is with TJ. Clearly, it's with TJ, but TJ hasn't run the medium compound tyres yet. So I think TJ's chance of a top 3 is now out of the window, and in fact, his chance of a top 5 could be in jeopardy as well. That's not confirmed, of course, but it could be. So Wiggy will swap out those soft tyres. He will put on the medium compound tyres and run to the end of this race. Wiggy, of course, from Wales. Fubar pitting as well. Why is Fubar pitting? Fubar could have run to the end of this race on soft compound tyres. I don't understand that strategy at all. I'm very confused now. He could have run to the end of this race on those medium tyres and knowing that Wiggy was also on the mediums. But strange choice. So there we go. Some very odd strategies out there. Clearly the tiredness is getting to them because some very crazy decisions have been made. I think Fubar and TJ have both cost themselves top 3 here. Without question for me. Without question. TJ will probably close up on Wiggy. because I know Wiggy's running the soft as well. So I'm confused. I'm confused. Have I missed some people running medium tyres? Oh, Wiggy's not fueled to the end of this race, is he? Odd. Odd. So, Fubar, did he start on the medium? I'm wondering when he started on the mediums now. I don't think, no, he didn't. He's just taking them off. I don't get it. He would have been 15 seconds ahead of Wiggy in third place. I feel like I'm missing something here. You know, anyone else that's watching, tell me what I'm missing, because TJ has to put on the medium tyres. He hasn't done it yet, unless he did one lap on them and I didn't notice. But I mean, it's checkable, so they can't tell me they did because it is checkable. Same as Fubar, he was on the mediums, and he could have run to the end on those medium tyres, but he's opted to go in and change out for the soft tyres. It just goes to show, if there are other cars on the racetrack and you don't know what they're doing, it can lead you to make I suppose, from my perspective, I know what everybody's doing, or kind of got a rough idea what everybody's doing and what position they're in, so I can make a strategy call with all the information available to me. I suppose these guys don't necessarily have all that information available to them. They don't know where the people around them are in terms of fuel, in terms of tyres, or certainly don't know where they are in terms of pit stop strategy. So maybe that's it, and it's just kind of forced him to make a pit when he didn't need to. Maybe he thought if he goes on those soft tyres, he can make up some time somewhere. But oh well. I think it's going to be a bit of a play to Old Man Jay as well. What are we looking at? So Old Man Jay is 16 seconds behind Brian Moncani. He's lapping in the let's say the low 217s. He's had some anomalies in the 216, but sort of low 217s. So most recently, Brian Moncani's just done a 213.2 on those medium tyres. That's some lap in that GTR. So he has no intention of letting Old Man Jay close that gap. Old Man Jay is 44 seconds ahead of Bandit. Bandit's got him for his final stop. He is 2 laps ahead of Chris Troopers, who is a lap ahead of Fristo. So Fristo 1 lap back, way back. He's on lap 51. But there's your leader, lap 56 for him. He's 14 seconds clear. He served the penalty. It wasn't actually that bad. It didn't cost him that much time, but that'll be because he's on the soft tyre, so he's able to use the power of Alpha, getting out of the corners nice and quickly, and gets off up the road. Not a lot Stormfly can do. To be fair, he hasn't really put frog on. I mean, the 217 on the last lap, I say that you could argue is a foot wrong, but he hasn't really put a foot wrong today too much, Stormfly, and it's just the pace out front has just been too much for him, too much to handle. And I think the Alpha's been a very, very strong car today. That is the one-stop car, and I don't understand why the people running it haven't one-stopped it. Unless those medium tyres are just so awful. That's all I can imagine, is that driving on those medium tyres must be so awful that they just don't want to do it. So, quick reminder why we're doing this thing that we are doing.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health. £40 could help keep Mind's supportive online community side by side, open for another hour, helping to connect people and feel less alone. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
That's why we're doing this thing. Please give generously. Or don't give generously, just give a little bit. Whatever you can do. Anything you can do would be fantastic. And if you want to get involved in these races and you think you can actually last out the 3-hour distance, do get in touch with us. You can leave a message here or on our Discord, or however you want to. Email whatever. Get in touch any way you would like to if you want to get involved. As you can see, we start pretty much with relatively full lobbies. We've manned down on race number 1, we were manned down on race number 2, but we're losing some during the race. But if you think you can last the 3 hours, if you've got the stable connection and you think you can last out the 3 hours of this race, you don't expect to have any technical issues, then get in touch, man, get involved. We've got 3 races left. Next week we are at Daytona in the GR3s. That's out of the 5 races. The 2 I've been most looking forward to were Spa and Daytona. Spa was supposed to be this week. We did move it because of the issues with the lobby. Daytona is going to be very, very fast. It's going to be quite abrasive, I think, on the tyres. I think it's going to be one of those races where fuel management is going to be king. You're going to want to go balls out. You're going to want to go super quick around the oval. But I think you're going to have to look at how you manage your pace. And then we've got obviously Spa the following week. That'll be in the GR2s. And then after Christmas, we're going to break for Christmas because everyone wants to eat cake and get pissed every day. We will come back and we will do Nordschleife GR1. Well, not Nordschleife actually, but the whole of the 24-hour Nürburgring, which is Nordschleife and the GP track. So really looking forward to that one as well, GR1. That's going to be the first Saturday after Christmas. So here we are at a minute. So 13 seconds is the gap. Yes, it's just ahead of Stormfly. Stormfly is in the Tenza. Yellow Sausage is in the Alpha 155. Can't see much of the cars at the moment because of how dark it is, but it is what it is. Wiggy also in the Atenza. So we've got a Tenza 2, a Tenza 3. We've got Alpha 1, Alpha 4. We've got WR, so TJ in the Alpha in 4th place, 5.5 seconds back from Wiggy. Still got to run the medium tyres, in my opinion, as does Wiggy, I'm sure of it. Okay, I'll obviously check that if I need to. Fubar is running in 5th place. He's in the WRX and made the strange decision to change out to the soft tyres. He was on the mediums. He'd he was shooing for a 1 stop. Was shooing for 3rd place, and then decided to pit when Wiggy went in. He would currently be running in 3rd had that been the case, had he stayed out. Brian Moncani, he's not going to make it to the end here. He's going to have to pit. That will put Old Man J up into 6th place, which, considering we started with 14, is a top half finish in my book. Whether 14 cars finished or not is irrelevant, because it will classify him in the top half because there'll be 3 DNFs at the bottom of the list. Of course, those DNFs will receive nil points for the race. Unfortunately, its intention is not enough to get points. There is Old Man J. He got rid of his medium tyres so early on. End of lap 1, they were gone. And he is there coming up to lap Grizz Troopers, and I think that'll be for the 3rd time. Makes that move around Grizz Troopers. He's up into 7th place. And this is a very, very good race for him. Endurance racing is kind to this man. He is 46 seconds now ahead of Bandit. Bandit running on those soft tyres to the end of this race. He is also in the Mazda Tenza. And then 9th and 10th is Grizz Troopers on lap 55 and Twisto on lap 54. That's the difference between those two. That's quite some distance back. Twisto running the GTR, Grizz Troopers running very strange choice of Dodge Viper. On board with your race leader as he starts lap 59, heading up the hill in that Alpha 155, and it is very, very dark out there. They're all looking forward to sunrise, because sunrise means that it is close to the end of the race. We are past the 2 hour mark, 2 hours 10 minutes. We've got 50 minutes left of this race here. We are at the Mount Panorama Racing Circuit, the home of the Bathurst 24 hour, and this is our version of that race, the Bathurst 24 hour. We're only doing it in 3 hours. 24 hours is far too much to expect these guys to race for. But what a race it's been so far. Yellow Sausages has dominated from start to finish, put in an absolutely blistering lap. There's Brian Moncardi into the pits. That will promote Oman J. A blistering lap in qualifying to get him into pole position. Led from the outset. Then, inexplicably had a massive wobble on lap 1 that dropped him all the way down to the position that Brian Moncardi's going in, which is 7th place. And he fought his way back up into the lead of this race, and has pretty much since that point onwards been totally in charge and dominated. And he's currently running in first. He's 14 seconds clear. He's on the soft compound tyres, and he has the fastest lap. So I'm just opening a bottle of drink for my daughter. Put in a glass. 15 seconds is the gap as he comes around past the hotel. This will be another lap completely for him. Yeah, I mean, you can see how difficult this gets in the dark. You've got some light in this section, but in the mountain section, there's nothing. You're just relying on what you see with your headlights. And, the corners come up thick and fast on you. And that's a 2 at 12.7, so very, very solid laps for him. There's his rival on the racetrack, 15 seconds back. It's Stormfly VR46. He's running the medium tyres to the end of this race. Doing 2:13.7 on the medium tyres is not awful. But it's going to be very difficult to chase down a car that's not only on soft tyres but lapping faster than you. There is Wiggy. He's running in third. I didn't see him run the medium compound tyre. I could be wrong. It's very possible I may have missed something. But I don't remember him running the medium compound tyre. So the two I've got a question mark over are Wiggy and TJ. I'm 99.99999999999% recurring. Sure that TJ has only run the soft compound tyre because he went very, very long in this race, unless he started on it, and I don't recall that he did. I think the only people that started on the medium compound tyre that I can remember were Belloc, who we've lost to a low blood sugar issue with him being diabetic, and Old Man J, who swapped them out at the end of lap 1. I think it's easy enough to go and check, isn't it? Wiggy, I don't recall him going in and changing to the medium compound tyres. He's been in twice, and I'm pretty sure he came out after the first one on the soft tyres. Well, no, he did. And then they came out again on the soft tyres. I'm pretty sure he didn't start. No, I think he started on the softs. So, don't know where we stand with that. We'll find out. So there's your leader, 16.8 seconds clear. Yellow Sausages from Stormfly in the Atenza. Wiggy in the Atenza, also not the same car, obviously, different car. In third place, 1 minute back. Question mark over medium tyre use from him, and whether he's going to go in and get some. There's a question mark also over TJ and the medium tyre use. Now, if these two both need to jump in and grab some medium tyres towards the end of this race, it might just be a full-on race to the line from these two. The gap's 7.6 seconds. Is TJ able to close that? His last 5 laps, 15.2, 14.3, 12.9, 15.5, 13.0. Wiggy's been a lot more consistent in the 12 and 13. He's not that low 2.14 there, but he's been much more consistent. Wiggy just coming up to lap Old Man J in 6th place. Fubar Philantis. This is the big head scratcher for me. He has run both compounds of tyres. He was on the medium tyres with enough fuel and enough tyre left to run to the end without another pit stop. Yet he opted to go in and put on soft compound tyres, and has cost himself, for me, a potential third place. He would have been in third place had he stayed out when the others in front of him went into the pits, when TJ and Wiggy went into the pits. Now the question I've got is what was the thinking behind the strategy of going back in and putting on the softs, particularly as those two had gone into the pits? If he was worried that they were both going on soft tyres and running to the end, I suppose you've got that aspect of this thinking, well, look, I would rather put on some soft tyres and give myself a shot at chasing them down than being on the mediums and being vulnerable, possibly. But surely track position's got to be king at that stage of the race. If you know you can run to the end and they're going in, you could give yourself a few laps to make that decision. You could see where you're at in terms of lap times, see how quickly they're closing on you, and then make the decision then. And it would probably cost you, it might cost you a second or two. But if you're likely to get caught anyway, what difference does that make, really? But, it is what it is. Old Man J running very well in 6th place. And I think 6th place is his place to keep. He's 18 seconds ahead of Brian Moncani. Brian Moncani is on the soft compound tyres. He is running to the end. Old Man J is also on the soft compound tyres. And in terms of lap pace, very, very similar. 17.5 seconds is the gap. If he can maintain this kind of pace, and Brian Moncani maintains the same pace, Brian will not catch him. LBJ in the Alpha 155, of course, Brian Moncani in the GTR. So he will have a little bit more pace on the straights with Brian Moncani, but what he gains on the straights, he'll lose in agility through the mountain. 32 seconds back is Bandit. He is also running the Atenza. He's the third of the Atenza runners. 35 seconds. He's running to the end of the race, of course. He's on the soft tyres, so it looks like he's had a little meeting with a wall. And then we've got Grizz Troopers on lap 58. He's 2 laps back, and 3 laps back from that is Christo Bratvanov. And credit to him for lasting the distance. We've lost 4 from this race. The first person we lost was Mr. Anderson, who left very, very early on. Given no explanation as to why he left, so I can only assume it was a realisation that he couldn't do that for 3 hours. But the problem I've got with it is he was running quite well, so it's what leads me to think it may well have just been a disconnection, because he was in a relatively good position. I think he was running in 4th when he disappeared. So who knows? Who knows what the problem was there? Then we lost Roses. Was our next victim. High Breeze Roses. He was just outside the top 3, and certainly looking as a shoe of the top 3. Remember, he qualified on the front row of the grid as well. Was looking very, very racy. Then it looked like he was having some pace issues and struggling to get the pace back. And at first, that's what I thought was happening. Is he just kind of lost that rhythm? But it turns out he was having a problem with his with the equipment, and he couldn't manage the brakes properly, and it eventually led to him having to quit the race because of a major problem with braking. We then lost Average Tom. He fully admitted he couldn't go on any longer. He couldn't last the distance. To be fair, he bought the wrong car. Ford fanboy or not, it was definitely the wrong car today for this track. So he left us about midway point of the race. And then we lost Belak. Belak was having an issue with blood sugar, being a diabetic. And I'm assuming that it was an issue he couldn't resolve with some sugar. And we lost Belak from this race. Belak was running quite well. Belak actually was in a good position for quite a high finish, because he was he started on the medium tyres and ran very, very long on those, and was definitely one stop in this race, and I think would have been there or thereabouts in the top 5. So that's a full rundown of everyone and where they are, what they've been doing. Yellow Sausage is opening up that gap. It's now nearly 20 seconds. So this will put him firmly at the top of the leaderboard after 2 of these Mind Endurance races on 50 juicy points. And of course, next we are off to Daytona in the GR3s. Can anyone catch him? Is he just going to dominate this endurance series from start to finish? What has anybody else got to challenge? Stormfly, 20 seconds back. He found himself in second place. For a while, did have a bit of a battle with Yellow Sausages, but just couldn't keep him at bay. Had to stop and gone quite long in this final stint on the medium tyres, which has left him vulnerable to not being able to close down. I mean, to be fair, it's not like he's lapping slowly either. I mean, he's doing 2:12.9s on the medium tyres, which isn't far off his soft tyre pace, to be honest. But I think the gap is just too big. Yellow Sausage is consistently dropping into the sub 2:12s, of course. Wiggy's just done a 2:12.5. He's on the soft tyres. Question mark over whether he has used the medium compound tyre or another compound of tyre. No one's used the hards, and you'd be an idiot to do so. But question mark on whether he's used those medium tyres or if he's going to use those medium tyres. TJ also question mark over the tyres. He could have stopped this race if he'd switched on to the mediums at the last pit stop, and probably would find himself in the top three, and he'd done so. He's not closing the gap on Wiggy though. It's a 12.9 second gap. It was at one stage not so long ago, 7 seconds. Fubar Fernandes, head scratching decision of the century. Was running in just outside the top, or running third place for a long portion of this race actually. Oh, excuse me, need to drink quick. Hey, it's Urban Fire, my brother from another mother. How you doing, man? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Shall we do a rundown for you then of what's occurring? Yellow Sausage is running to the end. He is 20 seconds clear of Stormfly. Stormfly opted to run the medium tyres in his final stint, whereas Yellow Sausage ran his in the middle, and it's paid dividends. Wiggy is currently running the soft tyres in third. Question mark on whether I didn't see him put on any medium tyres at all, so I'm wondering whether he's going to, or if I've missed something. But he's done a 2:11.8, which is a very, very quick lap. He's the second driver to go sub 2:12 under race conditions, of course. TJ definitely hasn't run the medium tyres yet, and was a shoo-in for a one stop here. Had he put those on in his stop, so he's in a bit of trouble now because he's going to have to come in and put some mediums on. Fubar is the one that's making me scratch my head. He had he pit stop slap bang in the middle of this race from the softs to the mediums. He had plenty of tyre on those mediums and plenty of fuel to run to the end. And for some reason, when Wiggy and TJ went in for their stops, Wiggy for his second, TJ for his first, Fubar decided to follow them in and change out to the soft compound tyre, costing himself a guaranteed third place. He might not have kept it, but he certainly would have been up there. But he's now in a position where it's almost impossibly out of reach, unless those two do have to get their medium tyres. Then obviously it might come back to him, but he wouldn't possibly know that beyond the racetrack. Old man Jay was plumb last, way back at the end of that one, because he swapped out the medium tyres after just one lap, and that's paid dividends as he's worked his way through the field. He's now going to run to the end of this race. 11 seconds clear of Brian Moncani, who is showing some pace actually in the tail end of this race in the Nissan GTR. Bandit 47 seconds back. Not really showing significant pace at this stage. I think that's pretty much where he's going to be. And then we've got a couple of laps back to Gris Troopers and a further lap back to Hristo. But we've lost 4 drivers from this race. Very early on, we lost Mr. Anderson, who was running in 4th in the NSX and looking pretty freaking quick, to be honest. So I can't imagine that was a rage quit. It seemed to me that was some sort of technical issue. And there's a coming together from the drivers in 9th and 10th. We're actually on different laps. So quite why they're having coming together, I don't know. But there we go. Then who did we lose next? We lost Roses. Roses, who qualified second and was looking really, really racy. He was up in the top 4 and looking really, really good for a place in the top 3 certainly. Probably second actually, to be fair. I think he actually was running second. And he had a few problems which looked like he was struggling with his rhythm. It turns out his brake had failed and he had to quit his race due to a technical issue. We then lost Average Tom, who was really struggling with the car and the track and everything else. And he bitched out, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. And then we finally lost Belak. Belak to a medical issue. He was diabetic and he was struggling with his blood sugar and couldn't last it out. 3 hours is a difficult race to stick out, especially when it starts to get dark like this. So our 14 went down to 10, but these 10 are lasting out the distance. We have just over half an hour remaining of this race. Fastest lap of the race has been 2:11.5. That was done ages ago, ages and ages and ages, by Yellow Sausages. 22 seconds is his lead, and when he pulled away from the line in first place, it looked to be a shoe-in from then. And then at the end of lap 1, he spins out or makes a little cock up, and he finds himself in 7th. And we're thinking, well, that ain't going to happen then. And he fought his way back to the lead, and since then, just absolutely dominated. So he dominated at Le Mans. He's dominated again. What can you say? It is what it is. He's on it today, absolutely on it. No Avalon today, unfortunately, because he's sick. But get well soon, buddy, and we'll see you next week. And when you can get in your beloved 911 in the GR4 at Daytona, Stormfly giving it everything he's got and chucking out some good solid lap times. But that Tenza was always going to be a 2-stopper. And never really got close enough really to Yellow Sausages to put the challenge in. It's just under a minute back to Wiggy in third. Still and TJ, we still don't know what's happening with the medium tyres. Do I have to go back and check? But the thing is, I'll ask them and they'll tell me the truth. They're not going to lie to me because then I can check. They may have run the medium tyres and I somehow missed it. So Stormfly's pitting again. He can actually make it to the end of this race, so he's going to put on the soft tyres for what purpose? Does he feel that he can pit and close down Yellow Sausages, or is he just sick to death of those medium tyres? Maybe that's the case, or maybe he just needs a shit and he's going to park up and go for a shit. Who knows? Who knows? We have got auto drive on, so anyone that needs to use it can just go for a walk, get up, little walk around, put auto drive on for a little bit. Nobody's used it to stop myself crashing into a wall, which is always good. Or to just do what I would have done, just put the auto drive on and then fuck off and sit in the garden for an hour. It certainly would have been quicker me going around an auto drive than me going around on me. So while we're doing this to raise money for my charity. 1 in 15 people will attempt suicide at some point in their lifetime, and I for one don't like that shit. And we want to do something about it. So we're raising a little bit of money for them. We're at about 470 quid or something like that in a minute. Let's get it to the 500 mark. That'll be awesome.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
You heard her. Do it. Do it now. Have you done it yet? Why not? Cool. So that's why we're doing this thing anyway. So, not much to talk about really. While we're waiting to find out what is going on with Wiggy and TJ, Stormfly's gone on to some soft tyres. I don't quite know the purpose of that. I'll tell you what we do have coming up. We've got team versus team tomorrow. Round 2 of the battle between Black Flag and the Lithuanian Racing Club. We got absolutely tonked. Absolutely tonked in round number 1. They pulled an absolute blinder with their car and track choice, picking a sports car on sports tyres at Nordschleife, and then it freaking rained. So yes, we got tonked in race number 1. It's our settings this time. We've laid down the gauntlet for them. Let's see if we can claw back some of those juicy points tomorrow evening for that elite versus elite race. Right here at Black Flag TV. Monday will be the new season of the GR4 lottery. We are currently going through the process of choosing the cars. We're not going to do it like last time we put all 15 cars out there. We're going to choose 5 cars that are relatively equal in performance, and then we're going to stick those on the wheel and spin it out. And there'll be 3 of each car on the track essentially, which should mix things up a little bit. You can still tune them as you wish, tune them to not have soft tyres if you so wish, and just run it on the. You can run it. You can tell you what, you can up the power as high as you like and stick on comfort tyres if you really freaking want to. But that'll be starting on Monday. We'll do the roll for that for the cars tomorrow evening after the team versus team. Tuesday we're back with Formula 1 with late night racing Formula 1. That's from 9 p.m. or what, 8:45 by the time I start the stream, etc, etc. Then Wednesday it's of course the GR3. I know we've missed the last couple of weeks. I was going to race in one, which is why I didn't stream it, and then the second one I was working, couldn't get back in time to get it done. They will be uploaded at some point when I get a chance. Probably not tomorrow. I've got too much on tomorrow. I'll probably do it Monday because I'm not working. Then what's after that? Thursday. Nothing. Oh yes, there is. Of course, there's something going on Thursday. We're back with Smoking Pirellis. The penultimate round of Smoking Pirellis F1. Really hotting up. Is the championship going to be decided this time out? I think it can be. I think it can be decided. Both constructors and manufacturers. Constructors and drivers can be decided on Thursday. And then Friday, we've got nothing going on Friday. We'll probably play a bit of F1 again. Why not? That'll be awesome. And then back here next week, Saturday, we're back for round number 3 of this Mind Endurance Series in the GR3 cars at Daytona. So that is the week ahead. We did start on the mediums. Okay, cool. So, okay. I knew that old man Jad started on them because his strategy was always going to be to the same as he did at Le Mans, which is to do one lap and then get rid of them, which has worked out quite well for him this time. It did not quite so well at Le Mans, but it worked out really well for him here. And I know that Belak, who's no longer with us, he's not dead, he's just not racing. Wow. Just realised I said that, no longer with us. God rest his soul. No, he's not dead. He just he had a blood sugar issue, couldn't carry on. He started on the mediums as well. So TJ started on the. So actually, that puts TJ in a really, really good position. So what about Wiggy? When did Wiggy use the mediums? Interesting. I can't imagine Wiggy hasn't used the mediums because he's too honest. He wouldn't choose. He's Welsh. They don't know how to. Welsh people just like run down hills and sing and chase sheep. I'm not suggesting they shed them at all. But there we go. So what have we got? We've got Yellow Sausages, 47 seconds clear. Stormfly decided to put on some soft tyres and go for it. I don't know if that's going to work out for him, to be fair. He's even further back than he was from Yellow Sausages, and he's not closing down. Who has crashed? Is that Yellow Sausages? No, it's not. So that one must have been for Christo, who's getting very... Oh, he got out of the way, then Stormfly bins it. Was that a bit too much bravery? Trying to get past Hardwire there, probably a bit of both. And straight after doing a 2:11.1, he was on a bit of a charge there, but whatever charge he was on is over, and it's on lap 69. Such a fucking child. 36 seconds clear he is of Wiggy. If he's going to be chucking out that kind of pace, then Stormfly should stay ahead. I'm going to assume Wiggy's used the mediums, and I just missed it because I often do miss things. I miss lots of things. Yeah, I imagine he has. TJ, we've just discovered, definitely did start on the medium tyres, so I'll take back what I said. You don't have to put any medium tyres on. You're running in 4th place, 28 seconds behind Wiggy, tucked in behind old man Jay at the moment, trying to find a way through to lap him. We've got 25 minutes left. Lap 69. How many laps we got left then? Half hour, 2 minutes lap, so it's about 15 laps more. So what did I say? I said 80 odd laps, didn't I? So yeah, 85, 84, 83 laps. My maths isn't that bad then, is it? 7 seconds back to Fubar. Fubar for me, I can't get my head round his decision. two stop. Well, he one stop this quite comfortably, and he's 7 seconds behind TJ, and he might catch him. What's he lapping at? He's lapping at 2:13.2, 2:13.3. TJ doing 2:14.2, 2:15.9. So he might catch him, but the fact of the matter is, he would have already been in third had he not followed Wiggy and TJ into the pits. He was on the medium tyres, I know, but he would have had track position. And I think at this stage, I think track position is key. It's so hard to overtake around here. It's one thing to catch. I mean, we saw even Yellow Sausage, as quick as he's been, in that sort of stint early on when he was stuck behind Stormfly, he couldn't find a way past, and it took a little wobble from Stormfly before Yellow Sausages could get through. So, I don't know. It might be that Fubar is actually a genius, and I missed something completely, and he's done it. It could be something down to as simple as he freaking hated those medium tyres and just didn't feel he was going to be competitive at all for the rest of the race, and felt that he could make up the lost time on the softs. I mean, he's doing all right at the minute. He's just coming up. Brian Moncarney having a little dink in the wall, and there goes Fubar. He goes through, and he's going to chase down now on the back of TJ. Old man Jay is lap back. He's on lap 69. He's 8.4 seconds ahead of Brian Moncarney, and should maintain that as TJ still stuck behind him. Brian Moncarney in the GTR. He's 47 seconds ahead of Bandit. Bandit from VRC Motorsports, of course. There he is, as we just see the daylight coming back to us here and that's you can't park there, mate. And that's a beautiful, beautiful sight. The daylight coming back here at Bathurst. I forgot the name of the racetrack. We've only been here for like 2.5 hours. But yeah, so we've made it through the night. Nobody has died, and we are back in daylight to the final stretch of this race, the final 13, 14 laps of this race. Not even that, I think now. Or 38, so we're probably about 10 or so laps left. And then Grid Troopers back on lap 67, and Hristo back on lap 66. And credit to both Grizz and Hristo, they will pick up points for making it to the end and sticking it out for the 3 hours, which very, very appreciative of, because not everybody made it to the end. And that's why we have to start with lobbies of sort of 14, 15, because people are dropping off and not able to. They can't hack it, man. They can't hack the 3 hours of racing. There's your leader, both in this race and the championship, and it actually extends his lead at the top of the championship from Stormfly to he's 3 points clear of TJ in the championship at the moment. Stormfly I think is in third. I could just bring it up, couldn't I? Let's just do that. So these are the current standings. There we go. Stormfly's not, he's in fourth, so he is on 18 points. He's going to lose another 3 points to Yellow Sausage. Yellow Sausage is picking up a cool 25 points here at Bathurst. Then we go off to Daytona. There are a couple of people who I think are going to be a lot quicker at Daytona than they have been today. One of whom is not in the race now, but I think he might be a shoo-in for there or thereabouts at Daytona. But I will talk about my predictions for Daytona when we get to Daytona. So, Yellow Sausage is in the 39 seconds clear. His fastest lap has finally been bested by Stormfly. It's a 2:11.1. Has Stormfly got a sub 2:11 lap in it? I didn't think there was a sub 2:12 in it, and then Yellow Sausage chucked one out in qualifying. That is quicker than the qualifying time. That is something special, that 2:11.1. Can we get a sub 2:11 with low fuel and grippy tyres? That would be something, wouldn't it? But Yellow Sausage, he's doing what he needs to do. He had a really bad lap there, lap 70. a 2:29 for him, which is why the gap is down to 40 seconds. Wiggy is running in third. I'm going to say that he must have used those medium compound. He's not the sort to not use the correct tyres. He would have planned it out from the beginning, as they do. He is 27 seconds back from Stormfly, so I think third is going to be his finishing position. I think the only thing that's going to change the top three now, I think, is going to be a Paul Walker style accident. That's a Porsche into a tree, and we haven't got any. We've got loads of trees, but no Porsches out there today. TJ 32 seconds back from Wiggy. He's putting in decent times, but actually I think he might be under some pressure from Fubar. Fubar has been phenomenal in this WRX today, to be fair, from start to finish. Yes, he lucked out a little bit. I don't think he has. I really don't think he has, but he might be planning to dive in on the last lap or so. Maybe he was hoping that the people around him would cock up and he could get a free pit stop. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to give him a penalty, man. I like him. Fubar has been it's been awesome today, to be fair. He lucked out a little bit with people dropping out and stuff, but he's just had this WRX dialed in. And I know, like we were talking beforehand, that a lot of them have said that they weren't really keen on the WRX in this race, but he's been really, really solid in this in the GR4 lottery since he jumped in midway through the tournament, and he's been faultless today. I mean, to be fair, yes, that's just Stormfly, but really difficult to catch. The only mistake I think he made was swapping out the medium tyres for the softs when he was sort of shooting for third place. But then looking at the pace of TJ, maybe it turned out to be a wise decision. Maybe he knew he was going to lose third and fourth for definite on the medium tyres, and he gambled on putting the softs on that he could maybe give himself a chance at third or fourth. Maybe that was his thinking behind it. Old Man Jay, master stroke for him actually with getting rid of those medium tyres. He knew he couldn't get the pace he wanted out of the medium tyres. Well, he showed some really good consistency actually, and that's something that was missing from Old Man Jay's racecraft, was consistency. I mean, he won't want me saying this. I mean, when he started, he was as shit as me. He's much better now. He's much quicker than me. Not much. Well, no, he is. He is much quicker than me. Of course he is. But the one thing that did cost him quite a lot was consistency. But he has really improved on that, particularly today actually. Not just with consistency in lap times, but with consistency in not crashing the car. I mean, yeah, he's had one or two wobbles, and he actually had one that was not his fault. He was coming up behind Grizz Troopers after his early pit stop, and Grizz Troopers decided that he didn't want the Viper to face forwards. He wanted it to face sideways, and Old Man Jay got caught up in that a little bit, but he's been solid. He's got himself into the top half, and there might have been 10 finishing, but 14 started, so 6th is top half, whichever way you want to look at it. Brian Moncani, he's generally quicker than this, so I think he bought the wrong car. I don't think this GTR has been super strong here. I can see the thinking behind picking a GTR. You've got some long straights. GTR's really good at that sort of thing. But I think what you gain in the GTR down Conrod and up the mountain straight, I think you lose through that mountain section at the top. I think you lose all of that because it just hasn't got that agility. It's a quick racing car in a straight line, but it's not. It's no Alpha 155 in terms of agility. So we're down to the last 15 minutes of the race here. We have literally 7, maybe 8 laps left. 8 laps left, maybe. We've got 10 minutes is what, 5? Yeah. Let's say 8 laps left, which take us to there or thereabouts to lap 80. Bandit is 48 seconds behind Brian Moncani. He has gone for the tender as well. Hasn't got the same performance as we and Stormfly have. But good race all the same from the Dutchman. In 8th place, just outside the top half. So 7th is top half, 14 stars, of course. Grizz Troopers down a couple of laps down at lap 70. He is a lap ahead of Risto on lap 69. Fastest lap not beaten yet, still a 2:11.1. Yellow Sausage is just happy to. He's just cruising around in there. Got 2:12, 2:13. He's just conserving his fuel. He knows he's still got another 15 minutes to continue racing, so he will continue to do so. Gap is 40 seconds. To be fair, he knows he doesn't have to push. He just has to keep an eye on that 40-second gap. He knows his tyres are going to last him out. The fuel, maybe a bit touch and go for the last 15 minutes. But we know he can manage fuel fine. He just needs to look at that gap, and he keeps that gap. It doesn't really matter what he keeps out. He'll have a view in his mind that he won't be able to get below X amount before he turns it back on again. And some of these shots are amazing. We do moan about GT7, but we played F1 yesterday for 3 or 4 hours. A load of us, or a handful of us, and once we work the lobbies out, actually they're not bad. The lobbies are pretty good, pretty stable. Once you sort them out properly and you wire yourself in properly. But the graphics just are no cut on this. The graphics are just awesome. I think everybody should ditch their PS4 and buy PS5 so we can have very stable lobbies and beautiful graphics. There is your runner in second place. Lap 68 was his pièce de résistance with a 2:11.1. He's been close. He's done a 2:11.9, 2:11.9, 2:11.925 and a 2:11.952, 2:11.7. Dropped off since with the 2:12 and a 2:14. So maybe he's not going to give me my sub 2:11 that I so desperately crave. Dance for me, monkey. Dance for me. There's Wiggy in third. There is a question mark over his use of medium tyre compound. Although looking at his fuel, I think he might. Maybe he's planned to just do a last lap on the medium tyres. There is no requirement. The requirement is you have to use them. It doesn't say how long you have to use them for. There is a yellow flag. Who has crashed? We'll find out in a minute. We'll see who's got some damage on. Green flag back again. 32 seconds ahead of TJ. If he has to pit, I think that's his aim. I think maybe that is his aim. He wants to open up that gap, so he knows he's got to put the medium tyres on. He will know he has to run them. So maybe that's his aim, is to make the gap big enough that he can get in and out on those mediums and stay ahead of TJ. If that's the case, then he's going to need to start ramping it up. He's been chucking out late 12s to mid 13s. TJ's pace actually is starting to increase again. He's doing low 13s. So, interesting. This is interesting actually, because there's loads more fuel on TJ as well, so he can start to ramp up the pressure and push. Wiggy's going to have to make a decision soon. And I think if you're going to make it, there we go, decision made. He's seen that TJ's quick, so he's gone in, he's putting the medium tyres on now. So, when you watch this tomorrow, when you're at the gym or whatever, I wasn't questioning your integrity. I've just seen TJ's helmet. Can we get another shot of his helmet? That is Super Mario on his freaking helmet. That is the most awesome thing I think I've ever seen. I thought he was joking when he put it up in the Discord. I thought it was like some sort of mocked up picture, but he is actually wearing a Super Mario helmet in his car. Good on you. Right, does he get through? Here's the question. Where's Wiggy? Wiggy is out. Where's TJ? TJ not yet coming into... There he is just now. It's tough, man. It is tough. But we're nearly at the end of this. We're nearly there. Just 10 minutes from the end. 10 minutes to go. And then we're all done and dusted. You should come and join us, man. It's a really, really cool series, buddy. It's GR3 next week at Daytona. I know you guys love the GR3s. So get involved with that, man. Oh, I always enjoy myself sitting here shouting bollocks at the screen for 3 hours. I live for it, mate. I absolutely live for it. So TJ is 5.4 seconds behind Wiggy. Wiggy's running the medium tyres now. He's got just enough fuel to make it to the end. TJ's got loads of fuel on board. He's going to push. His last lap was sub 13 to 12.9. We have to wait a couple of laps to see what sort of pace Wiggy has got. But we will not want to see that 5.6 seconds dropping too much lower. Fubar is he starting to put some pressure on. I think he's going to struggle. The tyres now, yeah, awesome news. I'll put the check-in up probably tomorrow. Obviously, the first 15 will get the spots. So Fubar is 6.2 seconds back, and yeah, I think he cost himself third. Like, do you know what? It's a difficult one because I think he probably, in terms of pace, I mean, he wasn't super that much slower on the medium tyres than he is now, but I think he might have been right to actually change out to those soft compound tyres, to the soft tyres, because I think although he would have been in third, I think TJ certainly would have caught him. If we look, I mean, the gap is what, 5 seconds. Went out for a couple of drinks, came back, had an adventure with a lady, shower again, and we're still racing. Yeah, we are. In fact, heroes. Yes, we are. You had an adventure with a lady. What did you do? Like climb into the back of a wardrobe and meet a half goat, half man called Thomas. So, where are we at? Yellow Sausage is 46 seconds clear. Has been completely dominant from start to finish. Strategy spot on. Very quick and almost impossible to beat. Even when he got stuck behind Stormfly, he didn't falter. He had his initial cock up in that one where he dropped down to 7th. But from that point onwards, he has been flawless. Stormfly's done everything. He's put everything in his locker that he could possibly do to try and do something, and it just hasn't worked out for him. He's even put in a 2:11.1, which was, I think, a couple of tenths quicker than the qualifying time here. But it's just not worked out for him. But he is securing a nice solid second in that Mazda Tenza. Wiggy left it very, very late to put on the medium tyres, but it's actually worked out for him. He opened up the gap big enough just to get the pit window available for. You know, I worked it out for the picture review on your profile, mate. Absolutely worked it out from the picture on your profile. Yes. So, so Wiggy did get the strategy spot right. He's put on those medium tyres to run at the end. And I think he's going to keep third place here. I think TJ, he had a bad lap there at 2:14. We'll find out what Wiggy's pace is like at the end of this lap, because this last lap was his out lap. Of course, he's out lap from the pits. If TJ does ramp up those 2:12, I think if he kept it up, I think it's too late now. There's only 3 laps remaining. I think if he kept it up, he might have closed that gap, but it seems to be opening out at the moment. Wiggy looks to be going very, very quickly. So Wiggy has secured third by the looks of things. TJ fourth, of course. Good race from him, though, to be fair. He's been pretty solid all the way through, started on the medium tyres and finished strong on the softs. Fubar for me, it's I don't know if the strategy was right or not. I mean, he might have got caught. If he'd stayed on the mediums, yes, he could have run to the end, but he would have been in third, but he might have got caught. Wiggy did go on the softs, but then I suppose he wouldn't have known at that stage, when Wiggy went into the pits in front of him, he wouldn't have known that wasn't his last stop. All he knows is there's a car that's going to be chasing him down, that's pretty darn quick, that might have been on his final stint, and he was on the medium tyres. So, I don't know, maybe it was actually the right choice to put on the soft tyres. You know, I vehemently questioned the decision when he did it. I'm still a little bit, maybe, you know, you would have been far enough ahead. You would have been in third place, you would have had track position. Yeah, you'd be on the medium tyres, but you could have run to the end. You weren't super slow. But if the two cars chasing you down are on soft tyres, and you're on mediums, and you're on used mediums at the end of the race, how are you going to stop them? And Stormfly into the pits again. He obviously clearly doesn't think he's going to make it to the end with that fuel. Does that now bring Wiggy into contention for second? I don't think he's close enough, to be fair. I think he's a little bit too far back. I'm also wondering whether he's got enough fuel to make it to the end of Wiggy. So, is there another twist in the tail there? Was Wiggy's eagerness to get back out on the medium tyres put him in a position where he doesn't have enough fuel to make it? We've still got another couple of laps to go here, and the fuel is looking dodgy. So it could be another twist in the tail. Stormfly is back out. He's just put in that little splash of fuel that will get him to the end. I think he knows he's not catching yellow sausages now. Is he going for the fastest lap? There's no points for the fastest lap. But if he can, I'm sure he'd love to give me a 2:10.9, which would be awesome. Wiggy, look at that fuel, man. He probably can fuel save this to the end, but does that give TJ a little bit of impetus now? He won't know what Wiggy's doing fuel-wise. He won't know that Wiggy's low on fuel, unless, of course, Wiggy's told them. I can't imagine that he'd give that information up freely. But he'll see the time tumbling and maybe wonder if there's a twist in the tail. And what about Fubar? Has Fubar got anything left in the tank to give? He's been very, very consistent at 213s, low 213s as well. Did have a bad lap, 78 in comparison. Well, bad in comparison. I mean, a 214.3 is still a bloody good lap, but bad in comparison, of course. And so there could still be a twist in the tail, especially when he runs out of fuel in the next lap or so. Brian Moncardi comfortably in 6th. He is a lap back from this lead pack. The lead pack, well, we've got the other just on lap 80. He's almost a lap ahead of all these guys, but they're all on the lead lap essentially. These guys. Brian Moncardi running in 6th place. Very solid pace now on those soft tyres. But fuel again. Does that give Old Man Jay a bit of impetus? Old Man Jay's making it to the end. Whatever happens, he's got enough fuel there. Brian Moncardi very low on fuel. Does this give Old Man Jay a little jump into the top 6? Bear in mind, he was 6th at one stage. Brian Moncardi's got back around him. Old Man Jay's clearly had a problem somewhere. And Brian Moncardi made that place back up, got back ahead of him. But has he pushed too hard and going to be struggling with the fuel? Old Man Jay's got plenty of tyre and he's got plenty of... He looks like he's going to smash this stuff, actually. It's probably not cost him that place. He is significantly ahead of Bandit. He's a minute and a half ahead of Bandit. So hasn't got to worry about Bandit behind. He's in the top half, of course he is. That's a great finish by any stretch of the imagination. Good strategy call from him to get rid of those mediums early doors. Gap is 10 seconds to Brian Moncardi. I think the issue is going to be fuel for Brian as he starts what will be his final lap. Lap 79 will be his last lap, but question mark on the fuel. Wiggy's on his last lap. I think he'll make it. He should be alright. He's clearly fuel saving this. TJ's not closing the gap either. Wiggy put in a 2:12.5 that lap as well. So no, it's over. The charge for the top 3 is over. So unless one of these 3 crash, that's basically it. So Yellow Sausage here, he comes through. He is going to lap Old Man Jay. He's on the last lap of this race. Look at those outfits side by side. What a beautiful shot that is. Old Man Jay just bumping off the wall. He's not going to catch Brian Moncardi now, but he has finished in the top half, which by Jay standards, as a fellow back marker, is a good performance. And I know you're looking to go, well, there's only 10 people there, it's not top half. There were 14 when it freaking started, so it's top half. Suck it. Here we go. So that is the 3 hours up. So we are about to see who finishes where. I think pretty much. Who's going to finish first? Who's going to cross the line first? I'm trying to find the point. Oh, there we go. So Stormfly, which way is Stormfly going? You can't park that there, mate. So Stormfly will finish in 2nd place. Bandit will come home in 8th. It's weird. I wanted to do this, really, isn't it? I suppose with endurance racing, that's how it works out. So Stormfly comes home in 2nd. A good 2nd place for him, to be fair. He's been there or thereabouts all day, just didn't have enough for him. Bandit comes home in 8th place. Grid Strippers in 9th. Risto in 10th. But who else we got? So who's finishing next? There is Wiggy coming home in 3rd. TJ will come home in 4th. Good finish from him. Didn't close the gap enough in the end, but good finish from him. Fubar comes home in 5th. Brian Moncarney will come home in 2nd. We didn't even get to finish the race. It should have been 180 minutes. But there we go. There is your winner, though. Yellow Sausages dominated that race. Brilliant finish from him, from pole position as well. That is 2 wins from 2 in this endurance series for the indomitable Yellow Sausages. Yellow Sausages from Stormfly, from loads of other people. But so there we go. That's all over, done and dusted. Thank you very, very, very much for joining me for what has been an awful long time. That's the wrong thing. Get rid of that. Yes, it's been a really, really long few hours. We've been here for it's like 10 past 11 now. What a great little race that was. We know what it's all about. It's all in the aid of mind. So give us your fucking money is the mantra of the day. Thank you very much for joining us for this 3-hour session. We are back next week with round 3 at Daytona in the GR3s. Let's see. Look, we started with 14 on race 1 and we finished with 11. We started with 14 on race 2, we finished with 10. Can we start with 15 drivers next week and finish with 15? That's actually what I'm more interested in seeing. I don't care who fucking wins it. I want to see if we can finish with 15 people on the track. That would be something special, wouldn't it? I want to save. I should have saved the replay, didn't I? I forgot to save the replay. Oh well, it's done now anyway. Thank you very much for joining me. All that's left to say is I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, doing a race for mind. Come and join me tomorrow for the team versus team. It's been emotional. I'm out of here.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health. Mental